Welcome back to Beam City Sports.
Beam City Sports.
Not on 96.5 FM today, but we're doing a Christmas special episode here at our bar at my house in the backyard. It's going to be a fun episode, but start out the show with a little something different. Got a surprise for some guests we have on the show. It's been their birthday a couple days ago. Also, Christmas spirit. We got to keep the Christmas spirit up. So, got some presents for our guys right here. Alec's birthday was on the December 21st.
Yeah.
Luke's birthday, December 23rd.
Happy birthday.
Merry Christmas to both you guys.
Happy birthdays and Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Should we just
Get to open it. Both you guys open up. Just gotta say thank you both for being on the show with me, believing in me, believing in us, Beam City Sports. You know, we got a long journey ahead of us, but it's been fun while we've been at it. So I'm excited to see what you guys got. Okay, Luke. Got the Orlando Magic jersey.
Rose Orlando Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal.
You said it earlier in the year that you might be wearing a Magic jersey on one of the shows eventually. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is amazing, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to be rocking this. I'm a new Orlando Magic fan. At the beginning of the season, I was buying into them. So now I'm officially in. So here we go. Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic.
Also got Alec, the NBA All-Star, because you're so hard to get a gift for because I don't know what team you really, represent.
Yeah.
So, everyone likes Shaq, of course. Had to get both you guys the Shaq jerseys. Also, Luke, you got one more gift in there.
I like that because Alec really don't got a favorite team.
He
that
doesn't.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
If you had to say right now, who's your favorite team?
I couldn't tell you.
You've been Boston supporter, Sixers supporter, Kings supporter. You're just an NBA.
Yeah, I really don't have a favorite team, but this is tough.
Oh,
I really do
logo.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
of course.
Let me take this one off. I gotta take this one off real quick. What else Luke got? Throw on this new one.
Big Mitch with the Kings hat. Hope it fits.
All the hats gotta go large for me real quick.
Oh,
we
yeah.
go.
Represent.
The old logo right there. That's what I like.
It's fire.
The cream is clean
This
too
is
in the middle.
beautiful. This is beautiful.
Love it.
Obviously, I can't wear both of these together. I'm gonna stick with the Kings, but thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
It
means a
yes,
lot.
yes. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. We got the beam in the background. We did have the beam in the background. We'll get that all figured out. But while we do that, we should jump in, start the show how we always do. Mitchell's Man of the Week.
Mitchell's Man of the Week coming in hot. Last night, we saw a great performance from him. Obviously, it kind of came up a little bit short. But our boy Kyrie Irving from the Dallas Mavericks, taking a big step up when Luka got hurt his calf in like the second quarter, I believe. Was limping around for a few minutes, but Kyrie came up big, scored 39 points. But over the last 3 games, he's averaging 24.5 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. And that's what you need from a guy that you add on to this Dallas Mavericks team, that you needed another big superstar to fill in with Luka Dončić and just get them over that hump. He's a big star that they could kind of get in. Now that Luka's out for a couple of weeks, you gotta hope that Kyrie can come in and get those wins while he's missing.
Yeah, last night Kyrie put on a performance for the ages. Even though they lost in the end, Kyrie with 39, like you said. Just a crazy game, and Kyrie's one of the most aesthetically pleasing players to watch in NBA history, so he's always a show on the court.
Yeah, he was looking like vintage Kyrie back in Cleveland with LeBron and everything. Just moving his body down low, drawing the foul, and then his quick three-point shot going up. There was a good 3 in a row, 4 in a row he hit at one point. Just kind of brought him back, caught him back to life.
Yeah, I like that. I like that pick for the week. Staying on NBA Christmas though, Ty's take of the week. Another hot take for the week. My take is that this NBA Christmas had the best NBA games on Christmas of all time. Every single game was super close. The margin of victory for each game, the average margin of victory was 5 points. That's never happened in an NBA Christmas day. So shout out to all the NBA for the great games yesterday, competing with the NFL. But they put on, everyone had to be tuned into those close games down the stretch. But yeah, what'd you guys see out there yesterday on NBA Christmas?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, and I'm going to kind of back what LeBron said after his interview. I like the NFL, and he even said, Christmas is their day. And they proved that. Every game, almost from the very first game, 9 a.m. in the morning, for us. But, Mikal Bridges versus Wemby pretty much, great game. And then after that, even though the T-Wolves were blowing them out to start, Kyrie just kind of backpacked the Mavs without Luka. So then we all got to see vintage Kyrie, like you were saying. Then after that, a Sixers team who hasn't been healthy all year. Now they're playing the second best team in the league right now in the Celtics, and then kind of back and forth games. So they ended up taking that dub, and then after that, probably the best game of the night being Lakers versus Warriors, vintage Bron versus Curry. But and then afterward you got to see what everyone in the NBA arguably says is the best player in the world, in Jokic. And even though they lost, I mean, it's always fun to see someone like him on the court every night.
Yeah, I think all those teams deserve to play on Christmas. I like how they put the young team, the Spurs, in there to get Wemby some more looks around the league. In my opinion, he's definitely going to be the face of the league once LeBron retires, when Steph and KD retire. He's next up. Him and Anthony Edwards, in my opinion, are next up in the league. But Deb, what'd you see out there yesterday?
I think they're definitely that LeBron and Steph Curry playing for about the 12th time in a row on Christmas, playing against each other.
Yeah,
that was definitely the best game of the night, and the NBA is going to have a really tough time finding two stars and two teams to put up against each other on Christmas for that main game once they're done, because they definitely set the bar pretty high. I mean, last three from Curry, a couple of those last threes, the deep one where we had the double bang, that was crazy. And then LeBron just looks like he did in the finals in 2016. We got the block by James. So, I mean, once they're gone, it's going to be tough. I wonder who that main slate of Christmas games is going to go to.
Yeah.
And I was when I heard that block by James again, I thought of Tyler immediately. I was like, oh, Tyler's not feeling good right now.
Yeah.
But no, that was a great way to close out the Christmas game. I want them to bring back the Christmas jerseys and everything.
For sure, yeah.
Because that's just like,
I think it adds a lot more personality to the games too.
Yeah. Personality. And then what LeBron said also, he was just like, we got to bring back the Christmas jerseys. You walk up to your locker, you feel like it's a Christmas present for all these players that are going out and playing something special. Like the NFL has Thanksgiving for their big kind of holiday thing. I wish baseball had 4th of July for that, but then NBA, they get Christmas. They need to make this like their kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, And like Devin said, it's going to be really hard to find two guys who, have a big rivalry that are loved by, all the fan bases in the league, like LeBron and Steph over the years. It just, we're in the best era of basketball. We've seen everything. These guys like LeBron, KD, Steph have given us so many great years of basketball. It's so competitive at the highest level, and it's just great to see. But the Spurs and the Knicks will start out there. The early game, very close game, 117-114. The Knicks ran away with it in the end. Victor Wembanyama, though, 42 points, only the third player to have over 40 points in his Christmas debut. 42 points, 18 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 6 threes. And he's just pulling from, the logo.
Anywhere.
He's pulling from the logo. He's blocking shots. He's just a different type of player that we've never seen.
Yeah,
never seen anyone like that.
I got to shout him out. I think he got me like 90 points on my fantasy squad. So, Wemby's definitely helping me out a lot. Just like you said, pulling up from the logo, he's looking like Jokic mixed with KD, mixed with everything that you want from a young player coming in to change your whole franchise. And then with all these rumors about that, we know what we're talking about. They could get even better with De'Aaron Fox.
We don't talk about that.
But Mikal Bridges coming in right behind him with 41 points. That was him bringing up the mid-range game after everybody's talking crap about shooting threes all the time. Obviously, he got hot from 3, but then late in the game, he hit, I think, 4 turnaround jumpers from mid-range. That, he got up to 41 points right there and shut the game right at the end.
Yeah. What'd you see from Vic out there?
I said it in our group chat, but I said that I think Wembanyama is probably the best big shooting big probably of all time, and it's only his second year.
Second year.
I think we gave that title to Karl-Anthony Towns, but I think we're going to strip that from him right away.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like to see Wemby take a lot of those threes just because he's so tall. They want him, to get down low because, it's really easy for him to get any type of shot that he wants.
Exactly, yeah.
But he's really proven that he's capable of making those threes and that they're really not even bad shots. You could, like you're saying, he's pulling from anywhere.
Yeah.
But, if he's making them, you can't really complain. You want him to play freely because if he's going to put up 42 for you and, they just so happen to fall short. But, yeah, if he's able to put up 42 for you while he's just chucking up shots, shooting probably 50 from 3 and, getting 18 rebounds on top of that, you got to let him do what he wants to do. Because at the end of the day, he's probably, like you said, going to be the face of the league, and people want to see that.
Yeah, for sure. And the Spurs were super exciting to watch yesterday. You know, a lot of people going into the Christmas Day game said this was going to be the worst game because, you know, the Spurs don't deserve to be on the Christmas Day slate yet. You know, they're so young. All they have is Victor and then an old CP3. But a guy like Jeremy Sohan had 21 points and 9 rebounds. And, you know, you sent a video of his funky shot yesterday, and his shot just looks crazy right now. But for Mikal Bridges, the same thing. His shot just doesn't look fluid at all. But the shot's going in, you can't complain.
Yep.
If the shot's falling, it doesn't matter how it looks.
If
a
it ain't
bucket's a
broke,
bucket.
don't fix it.
Exactly, yeah. And Stephon Castle only had 6 points, but, you know, he's just so athletic and fun to watch. And, you know,
Yeah, he did have that crazy back scratcher dunk.
yeah, on Brunson,
Yeah.
on Brunson. But, you know, you guys brought up the De'Aaron stuff already. If, you know, down the line, if we do have to trade De'Aaron and the Spurs are the team that wants him, the only way I'm saying yes to that is if we get Stephon Castle,
And like,
Devin Vassell, and 5 picks.
Yeah.
Vassell for sure.
Yeah.
I like Devin
Yeah.
Vassell a lot.
But
Both of
Stephon
those.
Castle's the guy they wouldn't want to give up. But that's why.
that's not someone they would want to give up, but that's the asking price for someone like De'Aaron who's
Yeah.
on that verge of superstar.
But it's not going to happen. De'Aaron's going to stay in
It's not
sack.
gonna happen.
De'Aaron's going to stay in
Stay in
sack. But yeah, the Knicks, you know, look like a well-oiled machine yesterday. All their guys that they signed to big contracts, like Mikal Bridges, 6 of 9 for 3, 41 points. Jalen Brunson only had 20 points, but he was a really leader on the team. He had 7 rebounds and 9 assists as well. He just orchestrating that whole team, you know, and we can see the chemistry on that team getting to where it was last year.
Yeah.
You know, they lost Dante DiVincenzo, who was a big part of that chemistry for them playing at Villanova together. But him, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, and Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby, very solid starting 5.
I gotta say something about Cat though, because he, still gets into a lot of foul trouble really early. And when it comes down to those fourth quarter runs, when the Spurs were hanging in there and coming back and making it back and forth, that's when you need someone like Cat to be down low and make those clutch buckets.
Nobody to guard Wendy.
But
Yeah.
exactly. And when he's in foul trouble, having 5 fouls at before the half of the fourth quarter, that's a tough situation to put your team in.
Because then you're out there you're trying not to foul, right? So you're playing
playing softer,
less defense, easier
Yeah.
defense. You're letting people get by you, all that, because you're trying not to. So he
Exactly.
definitely needs to stay more disciplined throughout the games, and that would definitely help a lot.
Yeah. Also, the Knicks just don't have a solid bench right now. They only got, you know, Tom Thibodeau's known
Who's
for
their
only playing
backup
6
big?
guys. Precious Achua, and, you know, guys like that, you know, Precious Achua's solid, but he can't guard Wemby.
Yeah.
And Karl Anthony Towns is someone who, you know, has the capabilities to guard a guy like Wemby. You know, maybe
At
hold
least-
him to
at
under
least
40
stay in
points.
front of him.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
least stay in front of him and do your best. But yeah, a great game, you know, to start the day. Woke up early, had to watch it from the start. You know, it's tough to wake up at 9 a.m., but, you know, Christmas morning, that's the easiest day to wake up of the year, you know. So, yeah, well, let's jump on to the next game. Timberwolves at the Mavericks. Timberwolves won this one, 105-99, like you guys mentioned earlier. Luka Dončić got hurt in the second quarter, and he had 14 points before he got hurt. He was lighting it up.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like you said, the calf strain. Hopefully he's not out for too long. We'll love to see Luka out there. But 14 points before he got hurt, and then after that, the Timberwolves went on a huge run. They went up 28 points. At the end of the third quarter, they were up 28, and then Kyrie just put on a show in the fourth quarter. Scored about 12 or 14 straight buckets for them.
Yeah, so I think they're up by 28 in the third, and then 6 minutes into the fourth quarter, the Mavs were only down by 10.
Yeah.
So it took them 10 minutes to come back, get all the stops, and then down by 10, and that snap of the time is. If only they had Luka, they would have won the game by probably 20 if he was still in the whole time. Yeah, no, that was a great. Kyrie was vintage. Everything I already talked about it earlier. That's what you love to see from your vet guard. That's kind of at the end of his prime and everything. That's exactly what you want. And I was pulling for the Mavs the whole time.
Yeah.
I want the Mavs to go far. I want Luka to win it. But Ant came down and clutched it up at the very end. So that's all you needed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I did turn that game off just because it looked egregious, and then I wanted to tune into the football. But when I was watching, you know, when the Timberwolves were making that run, it just looked tough because, you know, Luka went out and they just kind of looked deflated at that point. Kyrie, I don't know what he had before the halftime, but I don't think it was anything too crazy. And then, that second half, I don't know what Jason Kidd said in the locker room, but they all just locked in. Kyrie locked in. And then, obviously, they made that comeback, and they still fell short.
Yep.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards, though, you know, he was ready to play on Christmas Day. The Timberwolves have been struggling all year. They're in the same boat as the Kings right now. Same with the Phoenix Suns. Those three teams have big expectations coming into the year, and they're really all struggling right now. But Anthony Edwards made it a point on national TV, whole world watching, to clutch up against Kyrie, one of his idols. And he had 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. But in the end of the fourth quarter was really what stood out to me. He wanted the ball in his hands. And even if they were throwing double teams at him, he had a couple turnovers on it. Then he learned from it. Then he found a way to split the double team, get to the basket, and have that clutch layup to win the game. So
I think the T-Wolves are probably, other than those other two teams, probably in the best position to make a run and kind of turn their season around from where they're at right now. And I think Ant is mostly a really big reason for why I think they can. So I think, especially on a Christmas day like that, a win like that, maybe they can start turning around their season and playing like they should be playing.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I will also say it's going to be a pretty tough kind of climb right now because they have a pretty tough schedule coming up after last night's game. They're going to be traveling a lot. But I do think they're going to be one of those teams that's going to be, struggling kind of like the Kings right now.
But maybe sneak into not a playing.
I don't think they're going to sneak
seeds.
in. I think they're going to power up. I think they're going to go straight up to the 4th or 3rd seed and be one of those teams that everybody expected them to be last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, Julius Randle's going to have to change up his whole style right now. But come All-Star break, I think they're going to be back up.
There's a lot of basketball left to be played. A lot of basketball left. We're about a quarter away through the year, so still got a lot of time left for the Kings, teams like the Timberwolves and the Suns to get hot and get back in that playoff contention. But the Timberwolves yesterday really showed me a lot on the defensive end. They got guys like Julius Randle out there. Dante DiVincenzo's been struggling all year. He hit some big shots for them. And, that's what the Timberwolves need out there. Last year they built their identity on the defensive end. Playing with Rudy Gobert down low, he's the best rim protector in the league. And then Karl Anthony Towns last year was so good playing the 4 position. Julius Randle needs to buy in more on the defensive end. And I think I saw that last night. Not on the comeback, though, but when they were up 28, they were buying in defensively. And then, they went back to their old ways and gave up the lead.
Kind of took that thought right out of my head. I think a lot of their problems defensively is Julius Randle's just not locked in all the time. He seems kind of lazy, but if he could lock it in, and when you see him lock it in, there's a big difference in the way he plays defense. So if he could keep it locked in and buy in, like you said, then I think their defense will be a lot better. And that is also another thing that's going to help them try to come back and climb the standings.
Yeah, we've always known that about Julius Randle, though. He's always been a guy with an attitude that doesn't give his best effort on the defensive end. Last year the Knicks were a way better team when he got hurt. Playing Josh Hart at the 4, running small, playing those guys like 48 minutes, and Miles McBride also played a lot when he got hurt. And that showed. The Knicks made a big run in the playoffs last year without Julius Randle. So that's why they were comfortable getting rid of him. And, ever since the Timberwolves made this move to trade Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle, I don't know anyone that was really on board with it.
No.
Yeah, it seemed really weird to me at first. I didn't, and even watching him play, I kind of just the vibe seems kind of weird. Same thing with the Kings, it's just you can't put your finger on it, but it just it's something that just pops out when you're watching.
Exactly.
There's a little bit of a throw off. I got to bring up the Dallas Mavericks again. Just the first year of Kyrie and Luka.
The first few games,
They had a real tough time trying to click and trying to get these wins. But a year later, you look at them now, and they look like they've been playing with each other for 3 or 4 years. So obviously, Julius Randle switching from a team that he was embedded with for 5 years or something like that, and then Cat being drafted to the Timberwolves, there's going to be some sort of a rocky transition for everything. Sure. But obviously the Knicks found it out a little bit quicker. They're looking like a little bit more well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And then the Timberwolves,
I just think Cat is easier to kind of build with and build around. And I feel like Brunson kind of is a good example of that because when he was with Luka, he wasn't really the first option like he was when he went to New York. And now with Cat, they got Mikal. OG's been having great games. Brunson kind of has taken a step back. Just, kind of proven to be more of a leader, but also, when he has to score, he will. Because he knows he's got guys that are capable of getting buckets. And, Josh Hart, another one of those names as well. But, I think the reason why the Knicks are doing a lot better is just because Cat is a better piece for the puzzle rather than, bringing Julius Randle into a team like the T-Wolves where Julius really can't shoot threes that well. Like he can.
He's gonna shoot him, but he
gonna
doesn't
shoot
shoot a
a
good
lot of
percentage.
it. Yeah.
He's gonna get his FGAs
You know he
up,
gonna
that's
get
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
But were you on board with it when they made that
No.
trade? Yeah, I don't
Not
know
at
one
all.
person
Not
that I've
at
ever
all.
talked to that was on board with what the Timberwolves were doing.
Honestly, yeah, I thought that was the craziest
Same
thing
here.
the Timberwolves could have done. And yeah, I don't know whose idea was it. Because Ant and Cat were a good duo. They looked great together,
Yeah.
and they made it to the
Conference finals. Yeah, last year no one expected them to go that far.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It was a whole money issue with them though, and the ownership, and a young team like the Timberwolves with one of the best players in the league, Anthony Edwards. I think they should have built around him more and put Karl Anthony Towns, had him stay there.
Yeah.
Now Karl Anthony Towns is, like you said, Brunson's taking that step back on purpose. Because now Karl Anthony Towns is the best player on that team. He's in MVP conversations.
He's looking like a top 3 center right
Exactly,
now.
yeah. He's leading the league in rebounding. He's shooting the three. He's scoring in the paint.
That's what I was gonna say. Is,
Yeah.
I mean, when are we gonna talk about Cat being MVP?
He's in there, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of him. I kind of was a little weary of him in Minnesota. Just like some of his antics. I
Me
was
too.
just like,
Me too.
like he's a little like he's really in that New York culture now. He's really like buying into it. He's trying to hype up the crowd all the time. And a lot of people who go play for New York, go play in Madison Square Garden, it's a lot of pressure, and they don't really know how to handle it. Like Jeremy Lin. I mean, yeah, he had a couple of years there, but Linsanity only lasted a year or two.
Yeah, and then the fans turned on him.
Fans turned on him.
That's what I was scared about for Karl Anthony Towns going there, was the fans. Because last year in Minnesota, he was kind of soft. In the playoffs especially. He was a little soft, always got in foul trouble like you said earlier. This year I really think he's taken a big step in his just toughness and, his willingness to win, do whatever it takes. But yeah, it's showing in the box score as well. But let's jump on to the game of the night. Lakers at Warriors. We talked about it earlier, but 115-113, the Lakers won this one at the very end. Austin Reeves, though, put on for LA, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, triple-dub for AR.
AR 15.
LeBron, 31 and 10, just an insane game. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, yeah, this is what we wanted from this whole matchup right here. This is what we've watched for the past, how many years that they've been matched up?
I said 12 in a row, but it's
Yeah.
probably not that many. It's been a lot.
They played a lot.
It's been a lot. And this is what a lot of people just look forward to at the end of the night. It's just, I need to get home and watch my Warriors and Lakers play.
Yeah.
Obviously, LeBron and Steph, best matchup that we've had in modern NBA times.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, without a doubt.
I just think it's ironic how they had that little interview that the NBA posted with LeBron,
KD
and Steph.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously they did it on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Have this interview, kind of build up the hype for Christmas. And then, LeBron is playing against Steph. They both get 30. But, yeah, I mean, unfortunately for the Warriors, they just couldn't. They just didn't have enough in the tank. I mean, Curry did all that he could, but the rest of his team kind of sold. No one really stepped up compared to LeBron's teammates, even without AD, because AD did get injured that game. Austin Reeves is the one that took over, and LeBron, I mean, obviously LeBron did what he had to, but, yeah. So.
I think Wiggins could have did a little better job on that last play, staying in front of AR. It seemed like he honestly just let him right past him, and you want to force overtime at least. So I mean, I think he could have done a little bit better job on AR right there.
I gotta say something though, because on that last play right there, I forgot who was guarding Rui though. Kuminga was guarding
out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Oh, and he didn't help, and he just stayed out of bounds.
Rui made a really smart play of backing all the way up, bringing in. Made a lane wide open, and then Reeves saw it and just cut in and had the perfect amount of time to just go up for a shot right there.
You know what that is? I think that's coaching by JJ Redick.
Yes.
JJ Redick, I love him as a coach already, but I haven't seen him smile one time all year. And the Lakers are doing better than what a lot of people thought they were. They have ups and downs, of course, but they have a positive record right now. They're up in the standings. They're about the same as the Warriors right now, but JJ Redick is just stressed out, like more than ever. Like last year, having him on the podcast, having him on the announcing crew, he seemed happier than ever. Relaxed, vibing good.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen him smile all year. And Richard Jefferson was talking about it yesterday. They were like, "Man, JJ looks like he wants to be back over here with us on the announcing crew because he looks stressed out."
It's because bro got to figure out how to put in Gabe Vincent and D'Lo in his rotation.
Yeah, exactly.
And giving him gray hairs.
I mean, Gabe Vincent hasn't really been the same that he was last year in Miami.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of one thing I understand why he's not playing him at all. But, I mean, D'Lo's already been in this system for a long time.
D'Lo's so inconsistent.
He's very
Who
inconsistent.
started instead of him? Was it Max Christie?
Max Christie. He had a big game.
He had a big game.
Yeah.
Shout out Christie.
Yeah.
But just with Reddit coming in like this, and I mean, as you're saying, stressed out. That's what you get for coaching the Lakers right there.
He knew what he was getting into.
You know what you're getting into.
He knew.
It's Showtime Lakers. You got to put on whatever, like, better. Got to be better than Darvin Ham last year.
Yeah, and he is.
He is, but there was, I think it was only a week ago or something like that. They had the same record at the same point in the season.
Yeah. Oh, so, I did see that too.
Yeah. It's. They are on a little hot streak right now. They're bouncing it back a little bit more, but who knows how long it'll last? With LeBron kind of questioning how long he's going to play right now.
And AD's always injured.
AD's twisted his ankle right there in the middle of the game. Not even a contact. He just misstepped. But that's kind of why that he's stressing a lot.
Yeah, and also, from the Warriors' point of view, it was great to see Steph have a big game on Christmas. You know, he's only had one big game on Christmas before this in his career. He's played in almost every Christmas since about 2012, 2013, and this is the lowest career average in his for a day in the NBA for his whole career. On Christmas, he averages 15 points a game.
Really?
Yeah, he's only had one 30-point game before this game, and last night he had 38 points. Obviously, we know about the clutch shots. I just couldn't believe those clutch shots he was making because I was like, it's Christmas Day. Steph isn't clutch on Christmas.
No, the one from the corner, that one looked like that reminded me of some of the stuff he was doing in the Olympic tournament.
Yeah,
that was
same.
I was just like, as soon as it went up, and I'm thinking, no way, obviously, and then it goes in, and I'm just sitting there kind of dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And then that, I will say that the one to tie the game is probably a little bit easier for him because he practices.
And he's wide open.
Yeah.
LeBron
Somebody coming at him, you're too late. Yeah,
LeBron was right on him in the corner, full contest. He just chucked it up and he got it.
That was crazy.
But then when LeBron came back with that straightaway three,
at
the end.
I love seeing them two go at it.
I was not expecting LeBron to hit that.
He took that first.
Sank right in off the back of the rim. That was pretty cool to see them go back and forth.
Yeah, also on that shot that Steph tied it, there's been a lot of talk about, JJ Redick last year when he had his podcast said, in that situation, when you're up 3 with a couple seconds to go, he's one to foul every time. He wants to foul them, make them shoot 2 free throws, make them have to intentionally miss it, get their own rebound, make them, don't let them shoot a 3.
Yeah.
But, Draymond, of course, especially not Curry. So, the announcers were talking about it before the play started that, expect the Lakers to foul here. JJ Redick's been saying it for years that he always fouls in this situation. But Draymond set an insanely good screen. Might have been illegal a little bit, but, the refs don't call that on Draymond, especially for Steph. But, yeah, so Draymond screened 2 guys. He screened AR and Max Christie, and they couldn't get through. So Steph was just wide open, like you guys said. And that's a layup for him, even from the logo. It's a layup. Yeah.
That's warm-up jumpers.
That's
that elbow 3 right there. That's one of his bread.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
He looked a little nervous though after the shot. He kicked his leg up like he was forcing that ball to go. And I know that feeling
was one where
you shoot it, it feels good, but you're still like I need to force it to go in a little bit.
There was one he came down where he was trying to I think tie the game before he did, and he kicked his legs out, and I was like I thought it was going in, but I knew he was trying to get fouled.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
But he was able to hit those last 2, and those 2 are just prime Steph.
Prime Steph. But Max Christie did a great job last night. He had 16 points in the starting lineup. Before last night, I was really low on Max Christie's game, actually. Didn't like him as a player. Didn't think he provided anything for this Lakers team, and they were playing him a ton of minutes. And I was like, why is Dalton Connect not getting more minutes? Dalton Connect had a huge game earlier in the year, had 35 points or whatever it was, and then Max Christie starting over him, but it's really because of the defense. And if Max Christie can keep knocking down shots, that's a huge part of this Lakers team. And they don't have a lot of good young players like that bring the athleticism, the quickness. They're not a fast team. They're not an athletic team. They don't shoot the ball well.
Because they traded them all for LeBron's teammates.
Yeah. But Max Christie could be a big part of that Lakers team.
Yeah, I like Max Christie a lot.
So give some respect to him.
Yeah, shout out Christie fan that. I'm a big fan of him. Like you said, his defense coming in big. We expected Connect to be in there a little bit more.
Yeah.
But when you have your defensive player going in there and coming up big and then popping out for a 3 every once in a while, then obviously you're going to keep them out there on the court, affecting both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And when they're hot, they're hot. You're not going to change it up. You're not going to be like, I have Dalton Connect. Like, I got a plan.
Yeah.
No, he's hot on the court right now. But you want to switch it up. Don't change it.
Yeah, JJ doesn't care. He just wants to win.
Yeah.
Also, I think a part of it is obviously we don't see what's going on in practice. And so I'm sure, Max Christie's just doing a phenomenal job, and he's obviously done enough to kind of catch JJ's eye. Mm-hmm. And obviously Dalton's the rookie, we expect him to play more, but most rookies don't really come into the league and dominate. And obviously he had that one game, but other than that, he's just been pretty average, just a regular, role player, regular rookie, knock your wide open shots down. But Connect, I mean, he's got good size, but I mean, it's his first year in the league. Obviously, he's not going to be able to guard everyone.
Yeah, he's not good on defense yet.
Christie's been in the league for a while, and he's been practicing. He's been playing with these guys. So I just think Darvin Ham didn't really give him the opportunity, and JJ likes what he's doing, so he's going to give him a chance. I mean, you can't be any worse than Gabe Vincent or Cam Reddish right now.
Or D'Lo.
Yeah, or D'Lo.
Yeah,
So.
throw him in there
he's
too.
playing right now, you got to imagine his role is only going to get that much bigger. I mean, he's already starting, but playing the most important minutes down the stretch of the fourth quarter, all that.
He had some big free throws as well down the stretch.
Yeah.
He's an 86% free throw shooter, but I thought for sure he was missing one of those. I thought for sure, but he knocked them both down.
Maybe,
so
but
shout out to Max Christie, but got to give our boy Braun a shout out. Most points ever on Christmas Day.
Your boy.
My boy, Randy's boy. Shout out to Braun, though. The GOAT, LeBron James. The most points ever on Christmas Day. No surprise there. He's played in the most games. He's scored the most field goals. He's in the ranking for most threes. Every stat you can think of on Christmas, he's pretty much number one. So
if you have the most games played on Christmas,
you get Bronny 2 points.
I mean, LeBron played. That was his 19th Christmas game.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Crazy.
I think he's been in the league for 21 years. He's only missed 2 Christmases. Bro.
That's crazy. Rui Hachimura, though, I had to put him on there. He made a big impact in the fourth quarter. He was knocking down shots. They tried to put Steph on him a couple times, and he was just babying Steph. So, he's a tough matchup. He's really strong. He's about 6'8". He can guard some guys, but
I like how he plays too a lot, just that 3-and-D, and he knocks down a lot of the games I've seen against the Lakers. He knocks down most of his threes. So.
Oh yeah,
you can get up there too.
For sure.
Goes up, and then he puts it down. He puts it down strong. So it's I'm a big buyer of the Rui Hachimura.
Yeah. All right. Well, 2 more games. The 76ers at the Celtics. 76ers beat the Boston Celtics yesterday, 118-114.
This was the first consecutive loss for the Celtics.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They look beatable now.
Yeah.
Before the year, earlier in the year, I was thinking, no one's going to beat Boston. This year's already a wrap. It's over. Milo's texting me saying, no one's going to beat the Celtics, man. What are you talking about? And I they look beatable now. I don't know what it is, they shoot so many threes. It's just some days they fall, some days they don't.
It's coming to that time where, some people might be getting a little tired just off of back-to-back games, traveling around a little bit. So some people might be lagging a little bit back. And then film and development, everything like that. There's a lot of factors coming in. Because people are figuring out how to guard their three-point shooting. Yeah. Because that's what I noticed is the Celtics have, the most open shots in the league. But now, against the Sixers, the defense was, high-scoring game. But the defense was pretty great with the Sixers the other day. So I think they're starting to get figured out. So
one thing I want to add before we continue is that they did not have Drew Holiday.
That's big. Yeah.
And so that is, I think, a part of the reason that Tyrese Maxey was able to have a good game is just because, their main defender was not able to guard Tyrese Maxey. And, they only lose about 4 points. So, who knows? If Drew Holiday's playing, guarding Maxey, shuts him down to 6 points less, 26 points, that's a Celtics W. So,
probably.
I love Drew Holiday, but they still had Derek White. They still had their good defenders.
Yeah.
They had Jaylen Brown. Obviously, he's one of the best perimeter defenders. Yeah. But Embiid was a big factor yesterday. 27 points, 9 rebounds, and Maxey, of course, 33 points. But the real story of the game to me was Caleb Martin, the Boston Celtics killer. That's what Embiid called him after the game. And a couple years ago when he was on Miami in the playoffs, killed Boston, got them to the finals. So he was 8 for 11 from the field and 7 for 9 from 3.
7 for 9.
Caleb Martin, the big signing for them in the offseason.
I didn't even know he was on the 76ers until yesterday.
Yeah. No, he's a solid player. And when they signed him in the offseason, I was really high on that signing.
Where was he at last year?
Miami.
Miami.
Yeah. And they also got the guy from France, Yabusele, who dunked on LeBron in the Olympics. So.
I know the Kings were kind of trying to buy into Yabusele.
That would be nice.
That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been hyped,
pairing up down there.
True. Well, Tatum had 32 points and 15 rebounds. Obviously a top 5 player in the league, in my opinion. Jayson Tatum is so underrated at this point. I think he's on the same level as Luka Dončić.
It's just
underrated.
He's underrated.
What are you talking about?
He's underrated right now.
It's just because
Jayson
he's
Tatum,
on the Celtics.
Yeah, they have such a good surrounding cast. He doesn't get the respect that he deserves. I think he needs to be top 3 in the MVP talk right now, and he's not.
I don't think he's underrated at all. I think he's up there in the talks all the time.
Yeah, people talk about it, but they don't give him the credit. Last year he had, one of the most perfect years you could think of. Winning the championship, playing in the Olympics, getting a gold medal, even though he was some confusion out there getting the minutes, but he still got a gold medal and got a championship in the same year. And all we hear about Tatum is getting clowned on or getting hate.
Obviously that's going to happen when you're like winning like this on the Boston Celtics,
Yeah.
one of like the least favored NBA teams if you're not a Celtics fan.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, he was a little cheesy at the end of the year with the whole thing. I think that's also a big reason why people
That
hate on
was.
him, is
I
because
don't like
for
that,
sure,
though.
yeah.
I don't like that.
I mean-
that's what I'm saying. I think
Is he
he
not
gets-
supposed to celebrate after winning a
In
championship?
your own
No,
way,
but-
for sure. But
Yeah.
when you're biting off other people's celebrations, I mean, that is kind of
True.
Yeah, it is corny.
There's
but
been
he's
so many
still-
championships, there's
he's
not much
still
more you
won
can
it.
say.
He's still won it, and I think people give him the respect for being that kind of a baller. But then off the court, he is a little bit of a cheesy person, and I think that's the hate that you're seeing from him.
Yeah.
But
So
when
we
it comes to
really,
the
we really
basketball-
hate on people for being themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
not
That's
himself,
what I'm-
gang. But that wasn't himself, right?
That's just
That wasn't
crazy.
himself, bro.
Nah, the hate's crazy, bro.
It
Yeah,
is.
the
That's what
hate's
I'm
crazy.
saying. That's what I'm trying to back him up right here.
No, we need to have a serious
So
conversation.
you are a Celtics fan, though, but you get mad
Oh,
we hate on
this-
Jayson Tatum.
Nah, I'm
Yeah.
not a Celtics fan. I just be backing up Tatum because I actually fuck with Tatum.
Same.
And I mean, bro, he's been in the league for what 6, 7, 8 years now. He's been in the league for a minute. He's been winning his whole career. He's made it to the Eastern Conference
Yeah.
Finals almost every season.
Yeah.
But LeBron was in the East, so of course he wasn't gonna get over the hump.
Yeah.
He finally gets over the hump, but then guess who does he have to play? Steph Curry
Yeah.
and the Warriors. So then they lose their first finals that they get to. Then what do? 2 years later, they run it back.
Well, it wasn't the next year, I suppose.
No, I said 2 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then they run it back. They make it to the championship and they win. And so you feel me? Now that he's finally won, and he's taken his time to get there, and he's finally done it. Everyone's they're all
No,
hating.
it definitely is going to feel better for him, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to discredit what he's done on the court, anything that he's done on the court, bro. Like, he was one of the big reasons they won that championship, and he deserves it, but if you corny off the court, bro, I'm not.
And also, Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP, but they had
I
very
can see
similar
when- I
numbers.
can
It
see
could have
that,
went.
yeah.
It could have went either way. Also, in the conference finals, they gave Jaylen Brown the Eastern Conference Finals
Really?
MVP. I don't know why the hate on Tatum. In my opinion, Jayson Tatum and Luka Dončić are neck and neck. If I'm starting a team from scratch, I would rather have Jayson Tatum than Luka Dončić. I'm saying
I
it right
think
now.
a lot of what
I would
Tatum
rather have
did
Jayson Tatum.
That's a
in
good
those
take.
playoffs
I
was
think you should
definitely
make
more
that Ty's
important
hot
than
take of the
Brown.
week.
That should be my take of the week.
It's a
Because,
good take.
I mean, it is a good take.
I mean, they're
Luka-
almost like equal.
Yeah,
except
they are
one's
equal.
just a better
Yeah.
defender.
Yeah, Tatum's a better defender. Luka's obviously a better playmaker.
Yeah.
But they both score the ball. They both rebound the ball. But I would rather have a two-way player.
I'd rather have Tatum.
Yeah,
for sure.
thank you. Yeah, and on both sides of the floor, Luka doesn't give the effort on both sides of the floor, which I'm not doubting him or
I mean, I wouldn't
putting
be,
down on him
I
for
would
that.
be mad
But,
having Luka, but I think
Yeah.
I would rather have somebody who, like you said,
Yeah.
is going to do it on both ends.
and if you have a solid team around, Tatum is gonna flourish more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luka Dončić needs the ball in his hands 24/7, and I think Luka. The argument is Luka could take a worse team farther. Like we saw last year, the
Yeah.
Mavericks. They didn't have a ton of guys, but he made those guys play better in the playoffs.
He can-
PJ Washington stepped up.
I feel like he can will a team.
He can will a team.
More than
Tatum.
Tatum can will a
Yeah,
team.
but on a good team like Boston, I think Boston would be worse if they had Luka instead of Tatum.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Tatum
yeah, yeah.
fits on those good
Well,
teams.
But that's only because you see, I mean, Tatum was drafted there, and
Yeah.
Luka was drafted to the Mavs. So that's something you can only say because you've seen the chemistry build and you've seen them fit with the players that they have right now.
Yeah,
If
that's a good
Luka was
point.
drafted to if Luka was drafted to the Celtics, then obviously they would build around him. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
Jason
it
Tatum's
would just be
better.
a whole completely
It's just a
different.
different.
Tatum's
culture,
also
yeah.
more the type of player to like we're talking about take that step back and like,
Yeah.
allow his teammates to do more and play that
That is
bigger
true.
role.
Yeah.
I think Luka is just that's what Kyrie's doing with Luka. That's not what
Yeah,
Luka's doing with Luka. So I
exactly.
feel like Tatum, he's more that type of player who's going to take the step back and allow his teammates to do more. Like that's probably some of the reason that those MVPs went to Jaylen Brown is because he's getting shots for him. He's playing D. He's guarding the point of attack defender like
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, taking more of his energy and score the ball. So I think he's more the type of player to do that than Luka, and I think that's the reason I'd rather have him.
Okay. All right.
Very valid point.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I don't think Kyrie's taken a step down at all. I think he's right at the point of where his career is supposed to be at.
I won't say step
Because-
down in terms of like skill, but like picking your spots more. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that because Kyrie definitely has found a whole new type of
Yeah.
like player model and everything. It's
Yeah.
like he's not as like. I mean, yeah, he handles the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And, I mean, now he will be a lot more with Luka out. but he is a whole lot less flashy than he was before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they need him to score, he can get a bucket.
Oh, yeah.
But last year he did in the playoffs to get them to the finals. Kyrie had games where he had 8 points.
Yeah.
But he was one of the most impactful players on the floor because he's setting people up. He had 12 assists, where he's guarding the best defender. He was guarding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last year when they played the Thunder, and he did a great job. Kyrie's defense is very underrated.
His plus minus was
always
good.
Yeah, you need Kyrie on the floor. But Payton Pritchard last night, one of my favorite players in the league. Shout out Milo again, his favorite player. 4 points, 1 of 9 from the field. So, is Boston relying on Payton Pritchard too much? Last year he barely got any minutes. This year he's the 6th man of the year, undoubtedly right now, the 6th man of the year. And, a game where he has 4 points, 1 of 9 from the field, they lose.
Like I said, though, there was no Drew Holiday, so, usually... Pritchard still takes relatively the same amount of shots.
Yeah.
But, off the bench, I feel like that's where, he finds his rhythm. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, it might have been different for Pritchard because he probably had to guard, someone like Maxey or someone like one of those main guys where...
He's a good defender, though. I like him on the defensive end.
He is.
He fights.
He's small. And
he's not like Drew, though.
Yeah. And, when, Drew Holiday, we see, he still puts up good numbers, but... He's obviously guarding the main guy.
He's had seasons to go through where that's been his role. So he's used to that.
And it takes more, a toll when you're guarding the best player, and then you have to come down on offense and shoot some jumpers. Payton Pritchard, he knows what his role is, and obviously his role is just to chug up threes. And he's been one of the best shooters in the league off the bench.
I think 2nd or 3rd most 3-pointers made this year.
Yeah.
So
and at a high percentage too.
Yeah. Shout out to Payton Pritchard.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the average. The shot chart for the whole league and everything right now, the
Crazy.
hot spots. It's pretty nuts. And then the Celtics are even more insane. The key point paints are the key points in the paint are way less than every other team. I think it's at least 15 points less average down low for the Celtics.
Yeah.
And then everything else is just 3-point shooting. And when you have someone coming off the bench shooting that many threes, it's going to happen all the time.
Yeah. Paul George, though, he has not looked like Paul George this year. Yesterday had 12 points. He had to go against some of the best defenders in the league. Of course, Boston has the best defensive team in the league. But Paul George has just not been who we thought he was. He was so much better last year than he is right now.
I'm pretty disappointed by this because I was at the beginning of the season. I was saying that this trio right here in Philly was going to be probably one of the best trio in the league because not a whole lot of teams have really built it like this. A perfect point guard like Tyrese Maxey, and then a small forward shooting guard type thing like Paul George, who was on the Clippers last year and averaging at least 20 points a game last year.
Over that, for sure.
Go ahead, finish your thoughts.
It's just and then you add Joel Embiid, who last year was questions for MVP. It's really disappointing just coming down to it. Seeing and then a bench that actually has some depth with Jared McCain coming in, being a rookie of the year. You want this team to be top 3, but it's pretty sad.
I hope they start winning. But yeah.
My thought was when that initially happened, I honestly did not like it at all. And it's just because nowadays obviously PG's at the point of his career where he wants a championship. He's looking for that. He's searching for that. I just didn't think Philly was the right place, especially because, like you said, when he was in LA, even with Kawhi, he was still a first, second option. But then when Kawhi's not there, you're the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
And so, even though they had Harden wasn't doing what he's doing now because he was making plays. He's distributing the ball. You go to Philly and you think, I'm gonna be a third option for Tyrese and Embiid, and it just doesn't work out that way. Obviously he did get injured, and then their bench hasn't been all that great. They drafted McCain, and McCain's been the bright spot in Philly, and then he gets hurt
out for the year.
And so now you're looking at it PG hasn't been who we thought he would be, and then Embiid's been out. There's been games where Maxey's been out, and so their whole season, even though it's still early, they could obviously bounce back and still get into the playoffs, which I'm sure they will. I think if they do, they won't even make it past the first round.
Yeah, it's hard to say that they will right now.
Tough.
But you were, we were all high on Paul George going to the Sixers, except Alec over here. Yeah. You knew Paul George wasn't going to fit, but on paper, going off what they played like last year, like you said, a perfect point guard in Tyrese Maxey. Then you add a wing defender, two-way player who can average 23 a game and guard the best wing guy, and then the MVP, arguably the best center and second best center in the league, Joel Embiid. How is that team not going to work? And they don't fit. Paul George just is past his prime. He's not the same player.
Yeah.
And they were relying on Jared McCain to be the best guy on the team multiple nights. Even when Paul George and Maxey and some of these other guys were healthy, Jared McCain was still the standout guy on the team. So, disappointing year for them.
Again, I'm skipping like a broken record here, but first year like this team together right now. Chemistry's got to build together. But the Sixers are a team that want to win now.
Yeah.
They're a team that has been building this process for a long time. So they expected with this team to come in, they expected really to just be at the top of the charts and kind of dominate the whole Eastern Conference. Besides, obviously the Celtics are going to be up there. But
well, my question would be, if it's just like their first year, they got to build chemistry. Well, how long do they have? Really?
That's the thing, yeah.
Because George is like 35.
He's old.
That's what I'm saying.
And Embiid's getting to a point in his career where if he doesn't win, everyone's going to start slandering him.
Yeah.
The only person that has an excuse is Tyrese because he's so young.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's just like this team, they need to win now. That's why they got all these big stars together right here. They trained Maxey up to be this, averaging close to like
25,
26 a game. It's sad.
Do you think they change anything up before the deadline if things don't turn around for them?
No.
Or they'll give them maybe the next year and then
Sixers aren't going to change anything.
Yeah.
Give them one more year.
I think you have to. They signed Paul George to like 4-year max deal, so it's like he's going to be 39 at the end of the deal, though. So you never know how they. Not everyone's like LeBron at 39 playing at peak level still, but yeah. So move on from the Sixers. The Nuggets at the Suns last night, the last game of the night. Definitely the most boring game of the night. No Devin Booker, but still a somewhat close game. Yeah. Suns won 110-100. KD always comes to play on Christmas Day, dropped 27 points. And Bradley Beal had 27 as well. So when Devin Booker's out, Bradley Beal takes that step up. But there's still conversations about, trading Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler.
That's gone down.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and saw Jimmy Butler will not be traded. So
I thought you were about to say he was traded somewhere.
Oh, I wish, yeah. But yeah, so Tyus Jones also off that bench he started last night because no booked, but Tyus Jones was 17. Such a solid player for them. I love the pickup from the beginning. They needed a point guard to run the show out there, and he's been so good for them, even though the Suns have been struggling this year.
Yeah. I tuned in for the game, and I was not entertained by it at all. Yeah. After watching all the other games that night, that all of my basketball juice was sucked out of me. So, watching KD play and ball out, that's always pretty special. He's one of my favorite players. And then against Westbrook, too. Yeah. Like, watching them two go back and forth. Not really back and forth, but just watching that matchup was always fun. And then, Jamal Murray. We talked about him before, just not really doing too hot on this Nuggets team.
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to be someone who might be moving before the trade deadline coming up. I don't think anybody's really going to buy in for Jamal.
Yeah, his stock, isn't too high right now. Nuggets fans are putting it out there like, trade Jamal Murray for De'Aaron Fox. Like, why would we do that? Why would the Kings do that? He's older than De'Aaron. We'd get way worse. It just doesn't make any sense.
We would have to get like Jamal, Christian Brown,
MPJ,
and like
Aaron Gordon. All of them. Everyone except Jokic, and it's still a no for me, honestly. Still saying no. But yeah, Nikola Jokic, 25 points, 15 rebounds, only 2 assists last night. So, Jokic usually has 10 assists a game. He's usually got that triple-double. So it was interesting to see he didn't have a lot of assists.
I just think, when it came down to it, like at the end of the game, when I noticed, they just turned the ball over. Michael Porter Jr. is over here chucking up crazy shots that aren't going, and Jokic is kind of looking at him like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But, everyone on the Nuggets, I think they were just sloppy. They all turned the ball over a lot. Even Jokic did a couple times, but because it's Jokic, we're like, he's trying to make a good player or whatever. But, it was a tough game for him. He started off slow. He didn't really do too great, for Jokic numbers. And then Aaron Gordon, he went out during the game, and so they had to rely on, a lot of their young guys. And, guys like Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, they're not going to be able to carry. Or, even someone like Christian Braun, who's stepped up and done enough. They're not going to be tasked to, at least get like 10, 12, or 14, all three of them, to where Jokic can be satisfied and they can win a game like a game like last night.
And then go guard KD on the other side of the floor.
Yeah.
Like, I love watching last night, like, just him getting to that elbow. Dude, that elbow is his spot. And, like, he's so much bigger than everybody. It doesn't even, like, you can get your hand up, it's going in, bro. And it's really entertaining to watch. I think that was the most entertaining part of the night, was just watching KD get to his spots.
Oh, yeah, KD
walks so Wemby could run.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel right now. Like, anytime I watch KD play, I'm like, Wemby plays the exact same way.
Yeah,
What's
that's who
going on?
Wemby looked up to, so that's good that you said that. Yeah,
Right.
Wemby, his whole life was like, I want to be like KD.
Yeah.
And, they played against each other in the Olympics. They became really close. I think in the offseason they also worked out together. So
Nice.
it's scary hours for,
Scary
anyone
hours.
playing against Wembanyama.
It was maybe KD signs a 1-year deal with San Antonio.
Oh, that would be crazy.
End his career.
Yeah. But yeah, MPJ, like you said, a big conversation right now. They're trying to trade him. Still up in the air for Zach LaVine. For MPJ, it's still, a lot of conversations out there.
That's one thing that I could see actually happening.
Yeah.
MPJ and Zach LaVine.
Okay, now you're on board. Yeah.
I'm
you guys were both not on board with it when I brought it up a couple
Yeah,
weeks
I
ago.
was
I don't
against
know
it.
if I don't know if I'm still on board for that.
Yeah.
But
I'm hopping on board.
looking at it now, I mean, Zach LaVine can kind of fill a bigger role than MPJ. And Zach LaVine can shoot the 3 too. So I think if it's just straight up MPJ for LaVine, maybe that would go through. But I don't know. I just feel like the Nuggets are still high on MPJ, and that's why they wouldn't want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And if he's capable of just hitting his shots, not doing anything too much, because like I mentioned, there's times where he just chucks up crazy threes or chucks up like a one dribble pull up, and Jokic is like, bro, what are we doing? 'Cause it's so early into a shot clock. Like, if he just does what he has to efficiently, I don't think they'll get rid of him.
Yeah, the real problem with MPJ, the other night, after there was so many talks about him getting traded, he came out and he had a huge game. I think he had like 27 points the other night in their win. It was against Phoenix, not last night, but a couple nights ago. And so I noticed they passed him the ball. He had to go, and he hit about 3 shots in a row. And Julian Strother, who's a really good shooter, was, wide open on the 3-point line. I hear him through the TV screaming like, hoo, I'm open. And MPJ didn't look anything but down. He looking just down the whole time. Got to his spot, hit a little floater, but that's just MPJ's game. Like you said, Michael never passed the rock, Porter Jr. That's why he got that name. And if he hits one shot, he's not looking to pass.
Yeah.
The only time he passes
Is on an inbound.
or if he pump fakes and then he tries to lean in. I've seen him throw it off the backboard to himself a couple times too. He is not looking to pass, but when he has to
Got that
pass,
Kobe mentality.
that's the only time he passes, when he's forced to pass.
What is
so.
he, like 28, 20?
Probably like 25, 26. Yeah, he's young. He came in the league
Oh,
young.
yeah, I forgot he came in the league like
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah, but in high school, he was supposed to be the number 1 player in his class.
Yeah.
He was that. So that's where he got that mentality from. He still thinks he's the best player on the court.
I kind of want to bring up the Zach LaVine and MPJ trade.
Yeah.
Is like MPJ is someone that the Bulls front office might want to have over Chicago just to kind of build around.
Yeah,
he's not going to be a star player that they're
not the number 1. You said
Yeah,
that last time. He's
number
not a number 1, but he's a great surrounding piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and then Zach LaVine kind of at the end of his prime probably right now.
Yeah.
I feel like would be a good fit in with MPJ, filling in for MPJ right there in Denver.
I feel like the 2-man game with Jokic and Zach LaVine would
Yeah,
be
I
pretty
feel like it would.
going pretty crazy
That
too.
would.
Yeah.
And Denver they're really struggling from the 3-point line this year,
Yeah.
and they don't have a lot of shooters. And MPJ is one of their main shooters, but Zach LaVine shoots more threes and makes more threes at a higher percentage.
Yep.
So, they need more 3-point quality shots, and that's what Zach LaVine would bring to that team. So I think it needs to happen.
I don't know why I wasn't into the trade before, but I mean, I thought about just watching MPJ play. I was just like, okay, this might actually work over in Chicago.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Him and Kobe White with each other, I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, anything else on NBA Christmas before we jump into our struggling Sacramento Kings?
I mean, can we just prolong it so we don't have to talk about it?
Well, we got to mention it sometime. Kings are 13-17 right now. 13-17, 4 games under 500. We've now lost 4 games in a row. They play tonight though against the Detroit Pistons. So when this video comes out, hopefully, we're happy about a Kings win. But
The beams in the sky.
I was expecting a trade before this game happened. I'm waking up every day praying that I wake up to a Shams report that the Kings have traded Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles for anything. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Switch it up. No way. Trade time?
Devin Carter fully cleared Kings rookie to resume unrestricted basketball activities following shoulder surgery.
I'm so up in the air on Devin Carter because I'm just like, I feel like if we trade him, because he has good value right now because no one knows how good he can be. Brooklyn's trying to get him for Cam Johnson and all that. No one knows how good he can be. And I feel like if the Kings trade him, he's going to be really good and something that we wish we had here in Sacramento. If we wait and let him play, and then he's playing 5 minutes a game, not doing anything, then his value just keeps dropping every game.
It'll be interesting to see what Mike Brown does because it's just another guard that, like Keon Ellis, he's either going to play or not play, and you have no idea why he isn't.
So. That's why. I feel like Keon Ellis's trade stock is. I feel like that's why he's not getting played a lot right now.
Because they're trying to keep him.
They're trying to keep his trade stock up.
Low.
I was thinking that last game.
Keon Ellis, his trade stock is already up. Keon Ellis, his trade stock.
Do you think the Kings don't want to play him so that they can keep him?
No, I'm thinking they're keeping him so then it doesn't drop anymore. And then when Devin Carter comes back, Keon might be offloaded.
You can't trade Keon, dude. The Kings are a different team when he's on the floor.
We can't.
Herder. I think they're playing Herder and Lyles so many minutes, and even Doug.
So that they can get rid of him?
So they can get rid of him. They're trying to play the trade value up. I don't think it's working too well. I don't think it's doing the opposite.
We said that a lot last year, and guess what? They didn't trade any. They made they did one thing for somebody who never played the rest of the season. I don't even remember.
And why did we sign Jay Crowder if he's not going to play? Why? Every time he comes in, he makes a difference. He's doing better than Trey Lyles.
He's the only one out there who's not soft,
Yeah, exactly. He's at least if he doesn't score, he's gonna talk some shit. He's gonna get in the other player's head a little bit at least.
Then that also might be the issue because when he started doing that against Minnesota, that's when Minnesota started to kind of turn up, and he got exposed a couple of times because he was talking crap, talking shit to some of the Minnesota fans, and then he got exposed by Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards once, and then
I don't care if he gets crossed up.
I'd rather have that than them just being out there just not caring about anything. Or I'm not gonna say not caring, but that's just what it looks like.
It looks like it.
I said it last week. Like if you're gonna go out there and talk smack, you got to back your game up.
Yeah.
And Jay Crowder was not backing his game up.
Jay Crowder's also old. So what do you expect him to do? He's not going to get out there and drop 13 points in a row. If he hits 2 threes, he's just going to start talking, and at that point, who cares? That's what you need from the Kings. You just need some grit. And no one on the Kings right now really shows that they have any grit.
No one.
No one cares right now.
No one.
Nobody cares.
So we lost to the Pacers last game. So ugly. 122-95. De'Aaron had 23, 7 and 5. Doesn't matter. He didn't play hard out there. I did not like what I saw from De'Aaron from the jump. The Kings got out to a slow start.
Missing easy shots.
And the Pacers also did. They got out to a slow start as well. It was a close game at half. The Pacers were getting open looks. I didn't like the Kings' defense from the start. They were not playing hard. After a 3-game losing streak, losing back-to-back to the Lakers, you would think they'd come out there with some intensity. And Mike Brown has just lost the locker room. That's all. That's the final story right now.
I'm kind of on that side. I think he lost the locker room 5 games ago, 6 games ago, when he started saying De'Aaron has to step up and be that superstar.
I won't deny that, but it's just tough because he's doing what he can with what he's got.
I disagree though.
Also, I gotta say, Kings just aren't fighting.
Yeah,
they're not fighting,
and that's why you play guys like Keon Ellis and Isaac Jones.
See, but that's where I agree with you. He doesn't. He needs to start doing that more, but. We've needed wing depth for about 3 years, and Monty McNair has drafted 4 guards and then signed 2 undrafted wings that barely play. And honestly, Isaac Jones looks good when he plays.
Love Isaac Jones.
I would like him to play a lot more.
I'd start him at this point. I'd put Keegan on the bench this game. I'd put Malik on the bench. I'd start Keon and Isaac Jones.
I'm down.
Get some energy.
I'd rather
Get some energy. We have enough scoring.
Keegan and start Keon. It would be small, but. If all he's going to do is score an ISO, I'd rather have that off the bench where we need that without Monk.
You're not
than
wrong.
Having it in the starting lineup where you got Monk who needs the ball, Fox needs the ball, and Sabonis.
I think the difference between Monk and Fox is that De'Aaron looks to score and Monk looks to play make.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So
Monk still gets his shots.
Yeah, he does, but obviously De'Aaron's our main scorer, which he is. He's the Kings' main scorer, but he doesn't from the games that I've been noticing, he doesn't really pass the ball as much as he used to, and I just feel like maybe it's something like Mike Brown, like he said, hey, you're the star, go shoot the ball, go give us buckets, and he doesn't play make anymore, and that's why Malik, he's over here getting 8 to 10 assists, and Sabonis, of course, is the one getting a lot of plays made too.
Yeah.
But I just feel like De'Aaron needs to be a playmaker again, and then let just some of those shots come to him, because there's times where he he'll dribble, attack the basket.
Does a lot of over dribbling.
Yeah, and then he doesn't even pass. He'll get caught in the paint, and he'll just do a turnaround fadeaway or a floater, and it's just like you're forcing it.
I gotta say, this is the first time where I've noticed like actual pressure getting to De'Aaron.
Yeah.
Because like, dude I've never seen a point where he's been like kind of nervous on the court or hesitant with anything. But there's a lot of times where he's dribbling up the court, and I see a wide open lane, and he just like kind of hesitates, and then it closes up real quick.
Yeah.
And then he attempts for it, and they already have it closed, so then he gets an easy shot block.
Yeah.
It's the first time in the whole career where I've seen him be wary about his decision.
He put it on himself though, did he not? Like,
Yeah.
it was him and the agency that released that shit before the offseason started about if they don't, look to make a push, then he's gonna want to leave. I mean, he's still got one more year left. He could always ask to be traded, but that's like. That came from them in their agency, so I feel like he kind of did that to himself.
And he just went on Draymond Green's podcast, and he said that before the year started, but he said it again, and Draymond dropped the pod right before this 4-game losing streak started. Yeah. So, as a leader of the team, I love De'Aaron. He's my second favorite player of all time. I've never wanted to hate on De'Aaron in any way, but you can't do that. No, you can't middle of the season contract negotiations. It's just fucking up the team right now. Yeah, and DeMar,
that's Draymond fucking
Rich Paul
instigating us.
Rich Paul did that on purpose. Yeah. And Draymond's under Rich Paul, De'Aaron's under Rich Paul.
I gotta throw some shade at Rich Paul. Like, I mean, respect to him as an agent for all
he's done so
all
good,
his hustle and like his backstory, but dude has nothing but controversy with all these big NBA stars and their whole contract just negotiations and whatnot. Yeah. He's in it for clicks right now. You can tell immediately now.
He's like the NBA Scott Boras.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you got a question that's just like, how much work is he actually doing if he can be an agent for all of these big stars? Like, how? I mean, I know he has people working for him, his agency and whatnot, but that's a lot. If you're signing every single star, what's the quality of work going into your like actual like relationship?
The problem with Rich Paul is that he's a player's agent. He doesn't care one bit about the team or the fans that like the team or anything like that. He doesn't care at all. He got that from LeBron, and he's a player's coach or a player's agent, I should say. And he multiple times people signed under Rich Paul. Like they want to go to the big markets, and he's like telling them behind the scenes, like, "Hey, I can get you to this big market where you're going to be on national TV. Fans are going to like you more. You're going to be talked about more on the NBA shows and get more attention than you are in Sacramento right now. So, go somewhere like New York or LA. That's usually what he's pushing for, but it's messing up the team. And
big time.
Yeah,
big time.
Not happy about it.
And then, I mean, back to Mike Brown. It's just like you look at him on the sideline, and he doesn't look confident at all. Like, just talking to players and whatnot. Like, it's Coach Christie kind of coming in and trying to hype everybody up. Yeah. And obviously the head coach don't really need to be hyping. You're trying to be that stoic.
But that's what he was when he brought us. When he came here, that's what he brought.
He was the hype. You saw him get, like, just hyped up on
he was running sprints with the team and doing all this fun stuff.
Now
early timeouts 30 seconds into the game. That's the Mike Brown I miss.
Now you see him walking up with his, not his hands in his pocket.
No, his hands in his pocket.
His arms are crossed and everything. It's just like, dude, like, this is not helping the team.
He's worse than Darvin Ham right now.
Yeah. Most of the time I see him on TV is just this spot right here.
He was not like that the last 2 years, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's DeMar. Last game DeMar, 2 points, 1 of 7 from the field. Just not going to cut it. And I think DeMar, adding him to this team, I remember when there was talks before they signed DeMar, and I remember sending it to our group chat, and I said, we should not sign this old ass motherfucker because he's gonna hurt the development of this team. And last year, in the year before, of course, the magical year, we're moving the ball. We're moving the ball. No one's ISOing every time. Like De'Aaron would get a bucket when he needed to. Yeah. But like you said, all you guys said this year, he's over dribbling. He's not looking to play make like he used to. And DeMar is the reason for that. DeMar has always been an ISO-centric player. His whole career, he's been known. You can't win with DeMar because he shoots the most mid-ranges in the league. Every team he's ever been on has been number 1 in mid-range shots in the league. And that's just not where the NBA is today. It's a 3-point shooting league. And with DeMar, it's not going to work.
He's clogging it up a whole lot because, he camps out in that mid-range area where De'Aaron needs to drive down. Yep. Or Domas and Malik are running their 2-man game trying to come down, but then he's right there in the middle in the mid-range, and then he has to back out where he's kind of useless on the three-point.
I was going to say useless in the corner.
Like,
he's always wide open in the corner.
He's always wide open, and like every once in a while, he might
I feel like the first couple games of the year he hit a couple, and they were saying Mike Brown's pushing DeMar to shoot those corner threes this year, and I was like, okay, that could be big. That could be big.
Domas is shooting better than him this year.
Yeah.
Like Obviously, it's less three-point shots, but
My question would be, so you said because of DeMar, you think De'Aaron's like ball hogging more. Do you think that's because DeMar's maybe telling him, hey, you need to, maybe ISO more, you need to do this, or is it because DeMar's the one that's ISOing, and if he's not making his shots, De'Aaron's like in his head, he's like, I need to go get a bucket.
Yeah, I think it's just it's not even that it's DeMar's fault. It's just his style of play has changed to the way that we play.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole team, not just De'Aaron. It's the whole team. And it's too many mid-range shots. It's too many ISO plays. We're not moving the ball. De'Aaron's the fastest player in the league. At half speed, he's the fastest player in the league. He said on Draymond's pod, most of the time he's not even running full speed, and he looks like a blur out there. And we need more of that.
If he's running full speed, he's gonna run off the court.
Exactly.
And break his ankle.
Yeah.
But we need the rest of the team to kind of. We need DeMar to run up the court down, run up and down the court faster, get the shots up quicker. Stop backing down all the time. I know it's his game. I know that's.
And he's so good.
He's so good.
He's like 24th all-time points scored, and he's so good. I love DeMar. Not trying to hate on him at all, but it's just with this team, and I knew it coming into the year. But I tried to once they signed him, I tried to buy in and have some faith, and say he's going to up Keegan's game, but. Like I said, he's doing the opposite.
Maybe Devin does have a point with him coming off the bench.
But he's too much of an ego. He's 24th all-time in scoring.
What's going to be the problem?
That's the thing. You can't have him come off the bench.
Malik needs to come back off the bench.
Yeah.
It was a panic move to put him in the starting lineup. The offense looked good, but the defense is just horrible.
I feel like he's giving good effort, but it's just
Malik's always
he doesn't
giving
have
the
the tools to like Keon's bomb. He's not tall, but his wingspan is pretty long, so it's easier for him to guard more wings.
And then De'Aaron doesn't have to guard the best guard. De'Aaron's put on the best guard, and De'Aaron
Keegan doesn't have to guard sometimes the best guard because sometimes he's out there on the guards.
I feel like DeMar's purpose of coming here was to win.
Yeah.
And so he's not gonna want to come off the bench because he thinks the reason I'm here is to help you guys win.
Yeah.
And so I just think, any type of idea that Mike Brown can think of would help. But I just don't think he would even want that.
I'm gonna kind of agree but disagree with you there because I do think he is gonna be coming here. He is coming here to win, but with a player with his stature and everything, with his vet mindset, he will do anything for a team that wants to win. So if it means coming off the bench, then hopefully he's willing to do that. Because obviously,
could be true, yeah.
I don't want to ask him to come off the bench. Someone like DeMar, who's averaging over 20 points a game.
It's a hard conversation to have.
It's a hard conversation to have.
It's not an easy thing to ask someone like DeMar DeRozan.
No. And I don't want him to come off the bench. But then at some point, you got to question. It's just like, is
he
he
not
going
to do anything with the roster? You got to try some things. Like the coach has to try something.
Yeah, and I don't see him coming off the bench at all this season. I will say that. I don't see that happening at all.
It's just too hard of a conversation.
Yeah.
I agree that it would probably benefit the team. It would probably benefit the team.
That's what I would like to see.
If it was 2K and we could just adjust the lineups without talking to the players and having this personal relationship, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
By game 4.
Yeah, do it in a heartbeat, but you can't do that. And last game, it was
2K.
Yeah, it was so ugly. It was 111-85 with 5 minutes left, and they took everyone out. Mike Brown, like you guys said, he's standing there with his hands in between his crossed arms, just no emotion, and I don't know what he's doing over there. Not playing Isaac Jones or Keon Ellis. There's just not much more you can say.
I don't know what.
Is he trying to lose his job? Is that I don't know what he's doing.
Are they gonna fire him with that 3-year big money dollar extension they just signed him to?
I wish we signed Jordy Fernandez.
That's a bigger conversation.
That would have been nice.
Defensive coach.
Defensive-minded coach with an offensive team that already knows how to score a bucket. Yeah. Jordy Fernandez, I think, would have been
maybe that's why their defense is so bad this year.
Yeah,
because Jordy Fernandez is the best defensive-minded coach in the league.
Brooklyn has no names on that team, especially after trading Schroeder. They still play very hard every night, and they have one of the best defenses.
One of the best defenses of all time, which is hurting their taking chances for
that's why they got rid of Schroeder, because they were winning too much. But also got to come for more than just Mike Brown. Luke Laux, the defensive coach.
The tall,
defensive coach. So much talk about him coming into the year, wanting to be a head coach down the road, being this defensive-oriented guy. such a good scheme on the defensive end.
I don't think
I don't
it's a
see
good
it.
scheme at all.
I don't see it. Where is this defensive energy?
It's
I don't
all,
see
all
any
help, just leave the shooters, and I hate
The
that.
rotations
How do you do
are
that?
so bad.
How do you do that?
Rotations are terrible. I don't
DeMar
see
doesn't play defense either.
No.
Yeah,
I hate
that's-
DeMar
that doesn't
defense.
help, yeah.
We knew that coming in, but
every other like 2 or 3 plays, I see someone sprinting out to the 3-point
Yep.
line, just trying to
They
get their
just
hand
shoot.
up
I
because
know.
someone's just wide open.
all it takes to get an open 3 on the Kings is pick and roll, bring Domas up, try and get a switch on the guard, hit the big, then they help on the big, multiple shooters wide open.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who they're playing.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't matter if we're playing a team that has hit the least amount of threes in the entire season. They're going to hit 20 plus threes
And
on
then
us.
also can't even bring up Domas in this L because dude did not use his right hand once going up. I've been on this for the whole season. An NBA player that is this superstar like level needs to know how to use a right hand down low. There's no reason why you should just be like, you're going up right, and then you switch to your left hand like out of nowhere. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not a fan.
I mean, he had 17 points, 21 rebounds,
Yeah.
4 assists, but I
Grabbing
mean,
a board, you grab with 2 hands,
Yeah.
but he goes up with 1 hand all the time. That's
Yeah.
not right.
That's
Yeah.
more the no bag people are always talking about.
Yeah.
Like, Randy's, where's Randy?
Yeah. Well, staying on the Pacers before we move on. So, Tyrese Halliburton only had 14 points, 8 assists, but, you know, he's the leader of that team. They had 6 players in double figures. Pacers are getting hot right now. Did we make a mistake trading Tyrese Halliburton for
No.
Domas Sabonis?
No.
Okay.
I don't like seeing
Maybe.
this conversation still.
Still, yeah, I'm over
I
it.
don't like seeing this conversation.
I'm over it.
I mean,
Alec, there's
it's
no.
possible. I
I
mean,
still don't think so. I think De'Aaron and Sabonis together are playing better than Halliburton. It's just we failed to really build around them like
Yeah.
we should have.
I don't think
well,
we
yeah, I
failed
mean, right
because-
now Halliburton's playing bad, but you know, last
Halliburton's
year.
been playing bad all year. He's been playing bad all year.
Okay,
Yeah.
but last year.
Last year he played bad down the stretch until they made the playoffs, and he picked it back up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He
Made
did.
the
They
conference
made the
finals,
conference
yeah.
finals. But he's been playing kind of.
But I feel
it's
like
been kind of weird for a while. For
it
sure.
really just depends though, because I mean, it depends on who the Kings would have had as a big man. Like if they were to get someone else as a big to pair with like Tyrese and De'Aaron, then it would have worked out. But you know, the team that they had, just having De'Aaron and Tyrese, like yeah, obviously it's not going to work out that
I
way.
remember going into when we traded for Domas. I remember going into the draft. I was just like, "There's no one here we could draft, even if we were that low on the lottery." That whole lottery pick right there, that whole college draft was one of the worst like 4 big men. I feel like so like when we were going into draft right there, we had to get rid of De'Aaron or Tyrese. Like it was one
Yeah,
of the two,
yeah.
like, no matter what.
And my dad has said this from the beginning. Since Tyrese got here, you could tell De'Aaron was just not on board with it. You know, his averages all went down across the board. His effort went down across the board. And everyone in Sacramento was honestly, you know, riding that Tyrese train. Like, it was hard to not like Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
He was the young rookie, playing hard, playing fast. He's flashy, hitting some threes. Even though he's got the ugly jumper, he was still, you know, fun to watch and smiling all the time. De'Aaron's not really that, like, personable guy like Tyrese Halliburton is. So, we had to pick one. We had to pick one.
De'Aaron was though at the beginning of his career when he was a young kid.
And he had the hair.
He had the hair, the headband. He was swiper.
He was.
He was that young guy, and that's what we bought into
Yeah.
for De'Aaron. That's why I'm gonna cry if he leaves
Same,
Sacramento.
yeah.
But then that's also why we kind of had to get rid of Tyrese, is because he was that young guy who we all bought into right there. It's just he's relatable. He's always smiling.
Yeah.
But it was one or the other, and De'Aaron had already had this whole cemented, like he was established here in Sacramento already.
Yeah.
And Tyrese and Domas, yeah, would have been a cool duo right there. But I mean, De'Aaron can not pass just as well as Tyrese, but he can still find people like really well.
And he scores.
And he
Thousands
scores
better.
better.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is the
So
best player available.
And then
Yeah.
Domas has done way better than Tyrese has ever done for us. Tyrese did good for us, but this trade, I don't like people still talking about.
I agree.
I feel like it.
I think it's time to move on.
Either way, it would have went. We would have been on the side of whoever's here for sure.
Sure.
But I mean, De'Aaron's damn near top 5 in every statistical Kings category in Sacramento history.
Yeah.
So I
If-
mean,
if
we
he
don't know if
stays,
Hallie would have.
yeah.
But I mean, he probably will.
If he
Who's-
stays, he's going to be the best king of all
Who's
time.
number 1 scorer for the Kings? Like in
Mitch
history?
Richmond.
Oh, okay. Who's,
Oh,
Oscar Robertson.
In
Sacramento
Sacramento
history,
history,
it's
Mitch Richmond. Yeah.
In
Good call.
Kings history, it's Oscar
Good,
Robertson.
good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
where's De'Aaron on that list?
fifth,
Four to five.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah, I think he's up there
He's
already.
fifth in assists. I was at the game where they announced that and the whole state.
Crazy.
The Sacramento loves De'Aaron, bro. So
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
that would be such a heartbreaker to
Or
lose.
is he at fifth already? I don't know if he's out fifth yet.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to fact check that real quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, like he said it too. He would love to stay in SAC
Yeah.
if we're able to get over the hump. But at the same time, though, we made the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, or
Yeah.
3 years ago, and obviously we've or the Kings have fallen off a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, if you're De'Aaron, obviously you want to be back there. I just think the Kings need to get back to the playoffs, and then whether they win or lose, then it's time to have those discussions because
And see what happens.
because they went to one playoff. They played in one series, and then now all of a sudden, De'Aaron's like, if we don't make any moves, I'm gonna leave. It's like, bro, you've only been to the playoffs once.
Yeah.
Let's get there again. Then win or lose, then it's like, all right, now let's see, what we can do and to help, and let's see what we're capable of.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. Sorry, I got to go back real quick to the top 5 scorers of Sacramento Kings. We got Oscar Robertson at number 1. We got Jack Twyman at number 2. Mitch Richmond at number 3. 4 is Sam Lacey, and then 5 is De'Aaron Fox.
He has more points than Boogie already?
De'Aaron Fox has 3,960. DeMarcus Cousins is not on the top 10 scorer.
Wow, that's kind of crazy to me.
It goes.
That doesn't,
After De'Aaron, it goes Tiny Archibald, Scott Whitman, Eddie Johnson, Chris Webber, and then Jerry Lucas.
Wow.
I mean, believable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy work for him.
I just
Playing
didn't
0
expect
playoff
it,
games
yeah.
every year. That kind of adds up after
Or it's
that.
about
Yep.
80 to 82 games a year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's go around the standings really quick, and then we'll jump into ICUs, and then we'll close out, and then we're gonna hit with Randy's Kahoot. But we're gonna take a break before we do that. So, the standings right now: the Cavs are first in the East, still at 26-4. Are they the team to beat Boston in the East?
No,
They're not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Potentially.
Okay.
I think they
I'll
could go
also
to.
see potential.
I'm going to say going into a 7-game series, 6 to it goes to 6 to 7 games, and Celtics I think will ultimately take it.
How many games did they go last year? They went 5, didn't they?
Yeah.
I
Cleveland wasn't the same team
Cleveland
as
was
they
not
are
the same
now.
team.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Celtics
they
have a lot more
are and they
size, too,
aren't
right?
because they did
So,
add
I
time.
mean,
New coach.
Oh yeah, new coach.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know. I mean, Darius Garland also did have a poor series that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think let's say the Cavs, let's say the standings stay the same and the Cavs are the 1, Celtics are the 2, and they meet in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
I think Celtics will probably win in 5 or 6. Like I'll agree.
It's hard to disagree with that. It's hard to disagree.
Yeah, having that belt, the championship under their belt last year, like going down into that series, they're gonna have way more confidence.
Yeah.
They already know like what it is going into a series to play 7 games in a row with someone.
And then I do want to say, it does suck for Donovan Mitchell because he's been in the league for a minute now.
Yeah.
He's been on the Jazz team where they've made it pretty far and they've fallen short.
Yeah.
Now he's with the Cavs team where he's been with them for a few years
Yeah.
now. And so for him, let's say they do get to the conference finals and he has to go up against the Celtics and they lose, we're gonna have tough conversations
We
with
are.
Donovan Mitchell
Yeah.
because he's gonna be in that kind of category of players where, well, do we think he's ever gonna win?
Yeah.
And so, but I fuck with Donovan Mitchell, but
Yeah.
it is very unfortunate. Just we're at a time where there's just so many good players and other good teams that
A lot of parity.
Yeah.
it's tough for someone like Spida to get over the hump.
Yeah. I love his game though. I think he's underrated at this point,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I hope he has a big playoffs. Make his name bigger than it is right now.
Yeah.
He's recognized as one of the best guards in the league, but I think he has the potential to be the best shooting guard in the league, or second behind Anthony Edwards. But that's the conversation right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we got second in the East, Boston Celtics, 22-8. They've lost 2 in a row, first time all year, like you
First
said
time all
earlier.
year.
So it's getting interesting, but Boston still looks like the team to beat out there. Then we got the Knicks, who struggled at first a little bit, but they're third in the East at 20-10, won
back.
5 in a row. So Knicks are putting on right now. They got a great surrounding cast.
Yep.
OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are finally playing great. So like that team.
Yep. And then, Knicks, that's a team that I immediately was, right when they got Cat,
Yeah.
I was surprised. And I was scared of them immediately. I thought that they were going to be, around this spot at this point. Maybe a little bit more wins and less losses, but the East is kind of shaking this whole time.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the Knicks now are doing better than they were last year.
Oh yeah.
At this point, 20-10. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but
they have higher
I
expectations
think
this year.
they have higher expectations this year for sure. I'm gonna say I think they were around the same spot as last year.
no, I don't think so though, because I feel like the Celtics were kind of similar, or the Celtics were maybe in Cleveland shoes, and
Okay.
everyone else was just poor.
super far
Okay.
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're 2 games behind the Celtics. Like, they can catch
Yeah,
them.
that's true.
After that Christmas game, I told my dad, I said, the Knicks are catching the Celtics. Like, you gotta watch out.
That's the team to watch out for out
Yeah.
there. So that's the
gotta-
team you guys think has the best chance to beat the Celtics? Is the
Nah,
Knicks?
The Orlando Magic, right here at number 4.
They are number 4, 19-12. What a year for them.
I don't like you guys laughing at my choice
Hey,
of the Orlando because
Hey, I'll give them respect,
the
brother.
past 3
Every-
games, no Mo, no Franz,
Yeah.
no Paolo, and they came back with a win recently.
And they did beat the Celtics.
They beat the Celtics without Franz or Paolo, and then Mo got hurt that
Yeah.
game, I think.
Yeah.
And then they threw out Goga at the last minute or
Yep.
something like that.
And
I
then, so
saw
Goga's been going off.
Yeah.
They have what's his name coming off the bench?
Anthony Black.
Trevelyan Queen.
Oh.
Trev. Yes.
That was my main
Crazy
pick for
pull.
ICU.
Like,
crazy pull.
Like-
His plus minus every time he's on the floor. In that game where they came back, I can't remember who it was against, but it was earlier in the week. His plus minus was plus 28.
Yeah.
This is
Plus
what I'm saying.
28.
This is what
That's
I'm saying.
unheard of.
And then Jalen Suggs was also out that game
Yeah,
too.
Jalen Suggs out.
Cole Anthony scored like 30
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I don't like you guys laughing at all my.
You know who else we have to mention is Tristan De Silva, and
what I'm saying.
he was my number 1 on my ranking list for who I wanted the Kings to pick at 13. He was number 1. Tristan De Silva.
Yeah.
You know how perfectly he would fit with this Kings team right now?
Orlando Magic, baby.
Hey, I'll hop on the wagon, bro. I ain't gonna
Yes.
lie.
Yeah.
I'll hop on it.
Yeah, Tristan De Silva is like a 6'10" shooter. Plays
he
good
was-
defense.
He was great.
I was so high on him coming into the draft, and
He was a killer at Colorado. Yeah.
We got him on right now.
yeah, I just wish the Kings drafted him and now with all these rookies that we could have had, like even Jared McCain, even Dalton Connect, Tristan De Silva, all these guys would be starting on the Kings right now, making huge impact. Tristan De Silva, even when the Magic have been healthy, has started most of the games this year because he's so important to that team.
Or even just come off the bench with pivotal minutes.
Yeah. But that puts so much pressure on Devin Carter to come in. Because if Devin Carter is disappointing, we're going to look back on this
There's
draft.
already pressure with all
There's
the guards
already-
that don't play already. And
Yeah.
He's like, where am I going to find my time?
Yeah. But if he doesn't come in and make the immediate impact when he's healthy,
Yeah, he's not
we're
gonna-
going to
I
look
think-
back on this draft
I
and
think
be
the
like, we messed up.
I think the difference though is because he was, like Keon and whoever else, they were undrafted.
Yeah.
We
Two-way
picked them up.
guys,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think no matter what, because that's the GM's pick.
They're going to.
Yeah, they'll play him. Like they'll figure out. Oh, Devin
That's a
Carter's
good point.
back. Yeah,
That's a good point.
We gotta get him in the game.
But like him and Keon are so similar. He hasn't played a minute of NBA basketball, but watching him in college, him and Keon are, almost the same player. Devin Carter might have a bit more of a bag on the offensive end, but it's going to be tough to, Keon's not getting minutes, like you said. How is Devin Carter, if you're playing Kevin Huerter 28 minutes a night?
I think he should take Herter's minutes. Like,
Huerter
at
needs
least
to be traded.
Huerter needs
most
to
of
be
them.
gone.
Yeah.
I love Huerter,
Sorry,
but
Kevin,
it's time. It's time. I
and
don't know
then
why
also,
Mike Brown loves him.
Devin Carter played more than 1 year in college.
All right, we had to take a short break, but we are back on Beam City Sports. We are going over the Eastern Conference standings right now. We just talked about the 4th place Orlando Magic. Now we're jumping on to the 5th place Milwaukee Bucks, who won the NBA Cup championship, sitting at 16-12. Are they a threat to beat the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference? What do you guys think?
Yes, the Bucks. They have been, like you said earlier in the show, like a few weeks ago. The Bucks were going to turn around at the NBA Cup tournament, and they did exactly that. They went 7-0 the whole tournament, and now they are. They're kind of cruising along, I think they have a pretty easy schedule coming up right now. Giannis is coming alive. The rest of the team is coming alive around them. I think they will be right up there, giving them a good push for their money for sure.
Yeah, I thought they were, before the year started, I thought they were the biggest threat to beat Boston, and I still feel that way, honestly. I think Giannis is the best or second best player in the league.
Agreed.
What do you think?
Well, they won a championship before, so if Giannis is playing good at the time and the Bucks are rolling down the stretch, then I think any team with Giannis is going to be hard to beat in a playoff series, in a 7-game series. So
Yeah.
It's possible, but I don't know. It's tough. I honestly don't know who in the East yet, other than maybe New York.
Yeah.
I just don't know who would give Boston a run for. I'm sure they could give them a run for their money, take them Game 7, but I just think Celtics will probably end up going back to the finals again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Celtics at 22-8. I feel like people expected them to be a little bit better than this. Maybe like have 5 losses because everybody was hyping the Celtics up a lot. They were just saying they're going to come in, be a powerhouse team, dominate the whole league, and they did that quite like at the beginning. They were, kind of unstoppable, but they've shown some weaknesses lately, and it's been kind of like they lost to the short-handed Magic. Like I know anything can happen in the NBA, especially nowadays. Like these fluke teams can kind of just come back and win any kind of game, but I don't know. There's a lot of signs with the Celtics. Like Porzingis coming back, they've kind of been a little bit weaker with Porzingis back, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a good point because I always notice a team that wins the championship in the end, you can tell the signs from the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. I always notice opening night. I remember opening night, Boston last year came out, looked like the best team in the league, and they obviously were the best team in the league last year. They won it all. And I think these little signs, like you said, losing to the short-handed Orlando Magic, it's not showing signs of them being a championship team again. So I think it's going to be, if I had to bet and say, is Boston going to win another championship this year or anyone else picking the field, I'm picking the field. I'm picking the 29 other teams. One of those teams is going to win. I don't think Boston's going back-to-back.
No. This NBA, when was the last time we saw a back-to-back championship?
It's been a minute. I think it was the Warriors.
It was the Warriors.
With KD.
Yeah,
so
with
the
KD.
best team ever constructed. That was the last
Celtics
team.
are going to do that.
I don't know about that.
You'd put the money on the Celtics
Wait, they did
against
win
the whole
back-to-back,
field?
and then
You're saying that Warriors was the best team ever constructed?
Ever constructed,
Yeah.
They were.
I think, I don't know.
No.
It's
hard
tough to
argument.
look at it, but I think what do we expect? The Celtics to go 82-0. Obviously, they're going to lose games. They're losing to the Magic that don't have anybody. But bro, when it comes down to it, the second half of the season, when it actually matters, because no one's going to look back at this game like, oh, the Celtics lost to the short-handed Magic. They're not going to win a championship. Because when it gets down to it, game 82, when whatever the record is, once they actually get into these playoff games, then it's like, oh, they don't even care about that one loss. Like, you feel me? That's when they'll step everything into gear. Everyone will be, at their peak best, as long as everyone's healthy, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think if anyone has the best chance to go back-to-back, it's the Celtics.
Yeah, that's a good point. They definitely do. But like I said, those championship teams, you notice it early in the year. Last year, everyone thought Denver was going to go back-to-back. And I noticed early in the year they were losing these games to these way worse teams. And I was thinking they're not showing signs of being that championship team like they were last year. Because the teams that win the championship beat all the teams that they should. And they beat teams that are on the same level as them. So, obviously no one's going to go 82-0. But losing a game like that is tough.
We're acting like they lost to the Hornets or they lost to, the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Like, the Magic are a good team. Even though they don't have everybody, they're still a good team.
They fight.
They're probably the biggest. I feel like they're exactly what the Sacramento Kings want to be right now.
I wish we were playing like them,
I think they, with how their bench is being able to come off the bench and just kind of live and thrive more than their starters have recently. Like Franz Wagner, I was heartbroken seeing him out for 4 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But then, I forget his name. Tristan.
Trevelin Queen. Trevelin Queen.
Yeah, him coming off the bench, he's the 7th option for them coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And then he dropped 20 plus points.
Yeah, and a plus 28 in the box.
Exactly.
But yeah. So the rest of the East will fly through. Miami Heat 14-13, Atlanta Hawks 15-15, and the Indiana Pacers are 15-15. Who out of those 3 teams has a chance to go the farthest in the playoffs? We've seen all 3 of those teams make runs in the last couple years, never winning it, but always making runs.
Who were the other 2?
So Miami Heat,
Okay.
Atlanta Hawks, and Indiana Pacers. Out of those 3 teams, who would you pick to make another surprise run? Because we've seen all 3 of the teams do it.
Give me the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, the Pistons are sitting at 13-17.
Can I say none of them? Because I don't think any of them will make a run at all.
Yeah, but
None of them are going to make a run.
Miami has Spoelstra in the playoffs. He's always one of the best coach ever. And then Jimmy Butler, when he's buying in, he's a top player in the league.
I'm glad you said Jimmy Butler, because he's not going to be buying into this team.
Yeah.
He asked for a trade. They say he's not going to give him a trade. That team is long gone. Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo are their future, who they're going to build around.
Yeah.
Jimmy's long gone,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's going to be playing the same way that he has in the past few years.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta, 15-15, Trae Young, and then they got Dyson
I'd
Daniels.
probably take Indy over Atlanta.
Yeah, Indy.
Yeah.
Tyrese.
I think Trae Young has a big load to shoulder offensively, you know? I mean, Dyson Daniels, I love Dyson Daniels. But
Yeah.
I want him. But
He's so good.
I'd probably pick the Pacers over the Hawks.
Yeah.
I feel like the Pacers are better set up, like the length and Tyrese, and I feel like they'd be better set up
Yeah.
to make a deep run like they did last
Yeah,
year.
they made the conference finals last year, so Pascal Siakam's a big addition to the team.
Yeah.
You know, Benedict Mathurin's playing great.
Benedict
So.
Mathurin that's one of my favorite players on that team.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like any of those teams have any potential on making any deep
Maybe
playoff run
first
at all.
round exits.
Yeah.
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 Oh, for sure.
All right, well, moving on to the West, Oklahoma City Thunder are 23-5 right now. They won 8 in a row. They look so good, and they're so young, and they're perfectly well put together.
Yeah.
You know, they just need that one more guy, I think.
All without Cho.
Yeah, all without Chet. Yeah,
Like,
got to mention
so
that.
I don't think they really need one more guy.
Maybe Chet is that one more
Chet
guy.
is that one
Chet
more
is
guy.
that one more
Yeah.
guy. So, I mean, them being 23-5 right now with this small squad, you always say, like, we need size, we need something like that. All they have is Isaiah Hartenstein out there getting the boards for him. But then, I mean, who Williams or Shea is the next tallest guy? 6'6", 6'7"?
Kenrich Williams or Shea, yeah, they're about 6'6", so.
So, I mean, them being 23-5
Well, they have
right
Jay
here.
Will back. Jay Will just came back.
J-Dub?
No, Jay Will.
Oh, yeah, the
Jay
other.
Will, yeah. Jay Will just
Yeah.
came back.
Okay,
He's
well, that's
like-
big for them.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
6'9".
Yeah, that's big.
He's a forward for them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I thought the Thunder were going to be kind of falling off right now, kind of struggling a little bit more, but the fact that they're 8 in a row right now, it's really scary.
Why did you think that, though? Why did you think that? Just because of SGA?
I don't know. I feel like they're still just that young team that's still trying to figure out how to stay consistent enough.
I mean,
and
they've-
went out, but they are consistent right now.
They figured it out.
They figured it out
I
really
think at
quick.
this point, they're just trying
And-
to prove that they're literally the best team in the NBA. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah,
they're trying to prove.
yeah. But it's gonna come down to the stretch. I mean, obviously the Celtics have a little bit more age on them. They have a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to that game 70 to 82 right there, that's going to be a big difference maker on who can kind of outlast and survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
the
mean-
only thing you can say about the Thunder is that they're not experienced, and last year they've lost to Dallas, so some more experience there. But I
Exactly.
still think they have some time to grow, and I think they're almost at their peak potential.
Yeah, definitely.
A couple years down the line, I think they're going to be by far the best team in the league. But
For
right
sure.
now, I think they're beatable. I think even though they're 23-5, I think in a playoff series they are beatable.
In a playoff series, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Who's beating them? Who's beating them?
Okay, well, let's go through. So the Rockets are 20-9 right now. Probably the biggest surprise of the year. Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
Ime Udoka, great coach out there. Jalen Green has really matured a lot in his game as well. He's come a long way from just being super athletic and not really knowing the basketball IQ part of the game, and now he's putting it all together. He's one of the best young guards in the league. But Houston, I also don't think has a real chance.
I feel like Houston, with Jalen Green, as you mentioned, I feel like he's also trying to. He's kind of one of those guards who might be on the trade block coming from Houston right now. I've seen his name coming up a little bit right now. So I think he's trying to establish his position in Houston, and I think he wants to stay there and team with that whole squad.
Yeah, if Houston goes for a star, they'd probably have to trade Jalen Green, but yeah, I think they should build around the young guys.
Yeah.
I don't think they should rush the process.
No. I just know Jalen Green is coming down to the end of his rookie contract right now. So, I mean, it's a question of Houston's going to want to keep him going and give him that big extension like that, or focus on the rest of their squad that has been going super strong right now.
Yeah.
Well, Memphis is third in the West. Let's fly through them now. They're 20-10. Very good year for them. Even with Draw being hurt some of the year, they've still, kept afloat. And 20-10 record for that young team is super impressive. Zach Edey's been a big part of that. Not putting up great numbers, but he's adding that size and the rebounding what they needed.
And then he's got his attitude in the NBA. In college, he just went out there to play. He went out there to just win a championship for his school. But now he's showing attitude to all these NBA stars, and he's like, I'm bigger than you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be.
He was messing with Draymond a couple games ago when they beat him by 50.
He kind of handled Draymond.
He did.
He
Draymond's
handle
not
him.
doing anything.
Yeah.
Draymond's all for sure. Right?
I'm a big Zach Edey fan. I mean, I'd say that about a lot of people in the league. But no, Zach Edey, young, just gritty. He played college for 4 years, so he knows how to fit into a system really well.
Yeah, that's true.
We were kind of. I remember a couple of us kind of before he got drafted, we were like, what team would he really like be the same on, or kind of do what he did in college? And I think Memphis was like, especially with Steven Adams was out for the first couple of weeks still, right?
Yeah.
Especially with him being out, he was able to just start playing right away. So.
But now Steven's he's on Houston.
Oh, they traded him now.
Yeah, he's on Houston.
But Steven Adams, when he was on Memphis, was a big part of that team, and Zach Edey brings similar things that Steven Adams brought, like
plus the shooting.
Yeah, and he can shoot the ball, so that's huge as well.
Funny enough, though, we're talking about the draft. Honestly, I think the Kings should have got Zach Edey wherever he landed, if that was possible, because he would have been the perfect
He went number
backup.
8.
Yeah,
And
like
the
if
Kings were
it was
13.
possible, but
He was supposed to go
I remember
like
we were
15.
talking about that.
it would
What's
have
it
been the
called?
perfect pick for the Kings backup center. It would have just worked out. I think it would have worked out.
I do
perfect.
too, because they don't really have an established one, and if they were
Another
to like
backup
draft him,
center
and like you
is
said about draft
fucking
position, how
Tatum.
Devin Carter is probably going to
Celtics.
play, because that's Monty's guy he drafted. I feel
Yeah,
like he'd probably get more run than Isaac Jones and Orlando Robinson right now, or definitely, but Zach Edey would have been that would have definitely been.
You know what Randy just mentioned that I actually had on my list of ICUs earlier? Most of my ICUs was half the Orlando Magic team, but then also Nimi Keita from the Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
He was the first player out of Portugal to ever get drafted into the NBA. So,
Here to Sacramento.
Yeah, here to Sacramento. And being Portuguese myself, I was a huge fan of him, wanted him to be a king and make an impact, but they didn't give him an opportunity ever. And now he's on the best team in the league, Boston Celtics, and making a huge impact. Blocking shots, he's 7'2", he's so fast as
He's
well.
literally their Rob Williams.
Yeah, he's
I
super
remember being
fast,
super
athletic.
jealous of him when I saw him first start playing for the Celtics, playing big minutes.
It's exactly what the
and I was
Kings
like,
would need right now. Is that rim protection, the fast, athletic, not playing selfishly. I don't know.
You're just saying, like, why'd they get rid of him and not a guard?
It would have fit perfectly here in Sacramento. So another bad move by the front office. If you're listening, don't get rid of the young bigs that we pick up.
Monty, except for Marvin Bagley.
Oh, that was good. But yeah, so fourth in the West right now, Dallas Mavericks. They're my favorite to make it out of the West once again.
Yes. I think they're going to skyrocket at some point and be right up top. Luka's going to carry that team. Hopefully he comes back sooner or later.
So
or
both
sooner.
of you got Mavs over Thunder?
If I had to pick right now in the West, I'd pick the Mavs.
Mavs over Thunder in a
pick the
7-game
Mavs.
series? Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
They beat them last
what
year.
about Mavs without Luka?
No, not without Luka.
Not without Luka.
All right.
They have to be healthy, but Clay hasn't been putting up great numbers, but I think he's exactly what this team needed. Just a guy who's gonna play his role. He's comfortable catching and shooting. His defense is better than it was last year. I'd say. Watching a lot of Warriors games last year, he was not good on the defensive end. But this year, he's playing hard. He doesn't have to guard the best guy like he used to in his prime. Yeah. But he's still a solid defender.
And then also he doesn't have to do as much of that kind of defending anymore because he's playing with a team that has a few better big men down low.
Yeah, true. They have great rim protection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the Warriors, they only had a couple people with him down low.
Yeah.
So he's more able to focus on a little bit more outside rather than trying to get down low against these other big guys.
Yeah, because he's only about 6'7", and he's a wing.
Yeah.
He's not a big man.
A lot of people were questioning that going into this season is the defensive scheme for Dallas.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot, but it's kind of proven to work out right now.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Yeah, I was questioning that for sure.
I think it's a lot easier to play defense when you have like real good, not even real good, but like good rim protectors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier to switch and like you don't have to worry about helping into the paint.
Yeah, you're comfortable forcing them to the paint because you have Daniel Gafford, shout out the Wizards legend, and Derek Lively, who has been so good for them since he's come into the league. But Derek Lively is one of the best young bigs in the league, and he doesn't do anything out of his role. He just sets screens, catches lobs, blocks shots, get rebounds. That's all they're asking him to do, and he's going to get paid a lot of money for doing just that. But yeah, another team, fifth in the West, Denver Nuggets, sitting at 16-12. They're also a big threat to the Thunder, I think, as well. I'd pick them second in my tier list of coming out of the West right now. I'd say Dallas number 1, Denver number 2. I do think they're going to make a move, and I think it's going to help them.
You think the Nuggets could?
Denver's going to make a move?
I think they're going to trade MPJ for Zach LaVine.
Okay.
Both of you guys have them over. Wait, do you have the Nuggets over?
I don't think I have the Nuggets over the Thunder.
Okay.
No, I think the Thunder are handling the Nuggets in a 7-game series for sure.
I think the only issue would be Jokic.
Yeah.
But then I think everyone else on the Thunder roster is better than everyone else on the Nuggets roster.
Yeah. Not everybody, but the majority of the team, yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that's a good point. Not everybody, but a lot of
And they're just in a better spot right now. I feel like the Nuggets are kind of
They're still trying to
after
find
they lost a
themselves.
few of their key players from that championship run. They're still trying to figure out and fill those holes. Russell Westbrook is not as consistent as you want him to be off the bench. He has taken a step up the last few games, which is pretty awesome to see. But they're not the same team they were with Reggie Jackson and KCP. Like those are two big people that people didn't expect them to make that big of a difference. But obviously, now it's a big difference for them being gone. And what's going to be tough is if Zach LaVine does get traded to the Nuggets. They're going to have two players kind of similar. Obviously, Zach LaVine is a better shooter, but Russell Westbrook and Zach LaVine.
And Jamal Murray.
Right there.
None of those guys are known as, point of attack defenders.
Exactly.
And that's the problem right now.
So if the Nuggets do make this trade to Chicago, I think we're going to see more than just NPJ going to Chicago. It's going to be a couple of people going
Yeah, they'll
over
have
there.
to give them some of the young guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Zeke Naji is someone who doesn't play for Denver, who makes the contracts work out. So
Yeah.
that's the trade being drawn up. It's Michael Porter Jr. and Zeke Naji for Zach LaVine and Torrey Craig or someone on the Bulls
Something
that
like
doesn't play. But yeah, so Lakers are sitting at the 6th spot, 17 and 13. The Clippers are right behind them. And those two teams in LA are better than, I thought they were going to be coming into the year, especially the Clippers.
Better than us right now.
Yeah. The two LA teams at 6 and 7. Then Phoenix has jumped up to number 8 at 15 and 14. And then Minnesota is 9. Warriors have fallen all the way down to the 10 spot, lost 2 in a row. Not looking too hot in Golden State right now. Even last night, it was a great game, but they end up losing in the end. And since they picked up Dennis Schroeder, it hasn't looked as good as I thought it was going to look.
Nah. Dennis did start off hot the other night.
Yeah.
He dropped a couple of threes back to back. And right then, I was just like, he's a perfect fit for this right here. Like, Buddy coming off the bench, you had Dennis Schroeder to be that little bit of a defensive-minded set.
I love him on the defensive end,
But he was averaging, 18 points over in Brooklyn, something like
18
that?
points, 8 assists.
And you
running the
expected
show.
that, running defense and getting a little bit more buckets, but he wasn't shooting as well.
I just think
his shot just hasn't fallen in Golden State.
It's that, but also he's adjusting to playing with Steph.
For sure.
In Brooklyn, it was really like him, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson. Like, he was one of the main scorers. You got Steph on your team now, so it's like, let me take a step back. Like, this is Steph's team.
Yeah.
But really, the Warriors need him to score more. Like, hey.
We need him to average 18 still.
Yeah,
like
or 20 or something. Like, they need him to put up points because literally no one else can score other than
And Wiggins.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
and Wiggins.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Pretty much wanting him to do what Buddy was doing at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But then play a little bit more defense.
Better defense.
Buddy started off so hot, and he was averaging 20, shooting 55% from 3.
We all knew that was going to come down.
Yeah, that always happens for Buddy. He starts out hot, and then he'll have up and down streaks, but that's what happens when you're a shooter.
Some Kings fans who watched him for a few years.
Yeah. But yeah, Dennis Schroeder on this team, I think, his defense is the main part that I've noticed a lot.
For sure.
But, he started out 1 for 11 on his first 11 3-point attempts on this team. So when his 3-point shot starts falling, I think the Warriors are going to jump way up in the standings.
For sure.
Yeah. Because it's all really close right now. All these teams have almost the same record from 5 all the way to 10.
Yeah,
all the way to 12, well, if we want to include the Kings in there.
We're going to throw the Kings.
Yeah.
Because I'm not counting them out yet.
Yeah.
We can't count the Kings out yet.
I
The
know.
team,
Kings
I mean, it's
6
scary
games
hours.
back.
I got hope.
Yeah,
still.
we could be scared right now, but it's still really early in the
Still 4
season right
games
now.
back, my
It's
bad.
it's before the All-Star break, so
Yeah.
I mean, there's still plenty of time to fix this. I'm not going to say it again, but we need time. We need we've never had 3 superstars in Sacramento like this.
So what's
Having them like
the
this,
Kings' New Year's resolution?
Ooh.
Kings' New Year's resolution is be up at the 8th seed by All-Star break. No, that's not going to happen.
Guard the 3-point line and shoot more threes.
Guard the 3-point
Lakers,
line.
Yeah.
Guard
I
the
agree
3-point
with
line.
that.
Shoot more not shoot more threes, shoot better threes.
Yeah.
We're already shooting enough threes.
Just more consistent.
Just make them. Please make them.
Not as much mid-range. I'm tired of it.
I like the Aaron's mid-range. And
Keep the
and
mid-range.
When DeRozan's going, I don't care, bro. Take that shot.
We don't need
it.
it.
Yeah, if
we
he's
don't
got
need
it
to
going.
take. We don't need to take anything away from our game because if we just make the threes, we win every game that we've lost by 5 points, 6 points, something like that. We are the win's in the back.
Yeah.
We've shot less than 30% in a lot of games from 3-point land, and if we bump that up to 40%, something like that, 42%,
At least league average.
Exactly.
Get it to at least league average.
then we would be up at 5th seed, 4th seed right now.
Yeah.
If we hit those threes, it's not like it's we're complaining too much about the team rotating, the team like Mike Brown, this doing that. We are getting open shots. We're getting to the right spot. People are getting the buckets up. It's just there's a lid on the rim that we can't see.
And what's crazy is it seems opposing teams shoot
way
so
better.
much better than the Kings at our stadium.
I can't go all the way back, but there's somewhere in my notes
it's
that
some crazy percentage.
There's 10 different teams that have shot 10% better from three-point land against us.
It's ridiculous.
So get our three-point shooting percentage up by, 7%, 8%, and then get our defense down, like get the three-point percentage down on defense by 7%. And we win all these games.
Yeah, I agree. Mike Brown can't force the shots to go in, but also, from my point of view, I think the coaching is, struggling on the defensive end. And that's where I think the coaching comes into play. Guarding the three-point line, like I said, don't help as much. Like, at the beginning of the year, one of my thoughts was like, I would rather these guys not help at all. I'd rather them, face guard their man. Especially if you're guarding a shooter. It seems like the Kings, like the other night, watching DeRozan, I think they were playing the Lakers or something like that, and DeRozan jumps out to, Anthony Davis on the three-point line, rotating to go help. Then he swings it over to Austin Reeves, wide open in the corner. It's like, you have to pick your poison. Anthony Davis isn't a three-point shooter, and Austin Reeves is shooting a career high from three.
Yep.
You have to know your personnel. And DeRozan just doesn't put the effort in on the defensive end to even try to know his personnel. He's jumping out at Anthony Davis, and then they swing it to Austin Reeves, who's got all the time in the world, and knocks down a corner three. And earlier in the year, noticed the same thing when we lost to the Houston Rockets. Multiple people jumping out at Amen Thompson's pump fake. Amen Thompson has hit probably 3 threes all year. And we're jumping out at his pump fakes. And then they're swinging it to Jalen Green, who's wide open in the corner for three. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean,
Luke Loucks, step up your game. I'm sick of it.
I'm going to agree. Our rotations on the three-point defense have been atrocious. Like I said earlier, we always find ourselves running out with our arms up from like 10 feet away. But it also it shows because these teams have done tremendously better against the Kings. It's weird because you watch any other team play against like the Denver Nuggets and it's an evenly matched, just kind of back down. But then out of nowhere, someone on the Nuggets who doesn't shoot any threes lights 4 threes from on us, and we don't know who to defend at the point. So I kind of see why people are running out there and giving this kind of defense to someone like Azure Thompson, and kind of just, I don't know. We're getting desperate right now on the 3-point line. We're getting desperate.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's over. It's not over.
It's not over.
Yeah.
A lot of season left. Yep. Kings have a chance to turn it around. But I think that's it for the NBA talk. Want to ask you guys, it's Christmas spirit. It's starting to rain a little bit. Shout out to Randy behind the camera, keeping it clean.
Thank you, Randy.
How was your guys' Christmas, man? It's the best time of the year. What was your favorite gift? How was your day yesterday? Start down now. Devin.
Pretty fun. We kind of do more celebrating on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So Christmas Eve, I got off work and headed over to my grandma's, and we had a big dinner. I ate after everybody, but I still ate a lot. And then we like to open our presents. It's one designated every year, and it's pajamas. So we'll do that. And then we made gingerbread houses. We mostly do the celebrating on Christmas Eve. Christmas was good. Woke up. It was a gift for myself, but I'd probably say the best gift I got was my dog. But other than that, it was all good. I got it's not up here, but I got the throwback Sacramento De'Aaron jersey.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping he's. I'm tripping. So.
I hope he stays. Yeah, that's a good jersey if he stays.
And then we go back to grandma's in the morning, and we have the same thing we have for dinner for breakfast, and I ate a bunch of that. We had some mimosas, hung out, and
Got drunk.
a little bit. But other than that, we opened the rest of the presents there, and then just head back home, and that's when I started watching the football and basketball. But pretty good, I would say it's good every year. But
sounds like a fun day.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun day. Luke, what'd you get? What was your best gift? What was your?
It was pretty good. It was a long holiday weekend.
Long day, yeah.
Beginning of the show, my birthday was on the 23rd, so all the festivities really started on like the 22nd. I got off work and then went out, celebrated, turned 24, so that's pretty cool. Yeah,
He's Uncle.
Oldest one on the show right here. Just celebrated the birthday with the fam. Went out for some dinner. enjoyed some drinks, and Christmas Eve did some last-minute shopping because, I mean, that's the way I am. I don't know what the heck to get anybody. But yeah, just a little bit of shopping Christmas Eve. Got to see my grandma, grandpa, Gomer and Gomper. Shout out them, big Kings fans. They're actually going to be at the game tonight.
Shout out.
But I want to say my favorite gift, though, that I got is my mom's helping me out get my passport. I'm going to Europe in August for one of my cousin's weddings out there.
Sounds awesome.
So we're planning on going to this isle. It's called the Isle of Jersey. It's a little island off the coast of France. Going to go out there for 4 or 5 days, watch my cousin Caleb get married. And then going to bounce around Europe for probably a month or so. So I might go on a little hiatus on the time of the show.
We'll hold it down at Beam City.
I can do some call-ins at some point.
Yeah,
some
like,
Zooms,
Zooms, anything like that. I'll definitely want to be available for that at some point. I want to be able to hop in, or I'll go to some Euro basketball game and take some recordings from a EuroLeague basketball game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that would be sick.
That'd be pretty tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, just pretty chill holidays. Had a hectic year, so this Christmas time we kind of just leveled it out. Took it slow.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
For me, it was honestly the best Christmas I've ever had. It was the best Christmas, NBA of course, but being with the family, I had to go to 4 different places. I got to go to 4 different places, I should say, because I was blessed to go to all of them. Started out at my lovely girlfriend Taylor's house. She spoiled me with so many gifts. Essentials hoodie right here. Probably one of my favorites. Got
shout out Essentials.
Yep, so many gifts from her. Can't even think of all of them off the top of my head, but just so many great gifts, and then so much stuff for the radio and all this stuff. And then went to my brother's house. Shout out to Trev. Brought my mom over there. Stayed over there for a bit. Saw the his side of the family. Then went over to Nikki's, my dad's girlfriend's sister's house. Big house out in Rockland, so that was super fun. Played some games over there. Shot some hoops with my boy Carson. Hopefully he's listening. Gave him some tips for going to UC Santa Barbara. Talked to him about that for a long time. So he's living the life out there. But that was awesome to go to. Then went to my aunt's where saw you there. Played more games. Ball of goodness. That was super fun. I was struggling unwrapping a whole gift thing.
I was trying to set you up.
Yeah,
man. I tried to wait a little bit.
Yeah, but I came out with the $100 Target gift card out of that. So that was fun. I feel like I was on the move all day, but I wasn't mad about it. It was the best Christmas I've ever had. So can't say much more than that.
Fire. For me, it was. It was a good, of course. Woke up. We always open our presents in the morning. Just regular. I feel like as we get older, especially in my family, like we don't really ask for much anymore. And so, not everyone got a ton of stuff, but we all, got each other some things. And then, I was watching the football games, and then we switched over to basketball because the football games were boring. Ate some food my mom cooked. We all wore, pajamas for dinner, just to kind of chill out. And then, it was, nice, relaxing day just with the family, so good vibes. Best gift, I'll probably say, I don't even know. Probably my sister got me some Lulu sweatpants.
Nice.
So those are always
too.
fire.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably say this jersey that you guys got me.
Respect.
Yeah, that's fire.
I gotta give a shout out to the jersey.
Yeah, the hat.
Very unexpected.
Hat's looking clean.
Very unexpected. Definitely wasn't expecting anything or any gifts. So that was a great surprise for sure.
Had to go out of my way and get you guys something. It was perfect timing though. Both you guys had birthday and then Christmas. I had to, and just appreciate you guys so much for doing this with us.
We gotta get our cameraman Randy an umbrella or something.
Okay. Well, but okay. Before we close out, I did want to ask you guys one goal you have coming into 2025. If you don't have one off the top of your head, I can start out. But every year I write all my goals down of what I plan to do. Long list this year. But if I had to pick just one, there's so many that I want to pick. One of them on there is start playing basketball again. I feel like I haven't shot a ball in 4 months before yesterday. Airballed my first 5 shots. Shoulders were hurting. Then I hit like 15 in a row just talking to my boy, and he was like, "Damn, bro!" And I didn't even realize I hit like 15 shots in a row. So the shot's not going to leave anytime soon.
Off the rust, man.
But so I want to get back into meditating. I used to be really into meditating a lot. Just 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day. You get the guided meditation going. You
Yeah.
disconnect from everything. You take deep breaths, breath control, get in your thoughts. It's a great way, and it always makes me just so much happier. It's for positive energy, and that's, everyone needs more of that.
Yep.
Also, another goal, I want to try reading more. It's really hard, but
I'm on that. I'm trying to get back into that.
I want to get into reading a little more. It's
Everyone
tough.
says that.
Bro.
You got a book?
I got a book for
Okay,
you. Yeah.
okay.
I've been reading, so
Okay.
I've been on that.
Scholar.
No, yeah, it's good. No, reading is good because now that we're out of school, not in school, reading is always something to kind of keep your brain working and
Yeah.
yeah, and that it'll help you just kind of improve, just not like skill set or anything, but always like keep your vocabulary up and just
Yeah.
always
Keep your mind fresh as well. Yeah.
So I guess I'll go next. So I'll just do 2 goals. First is, and I've been talking about it with a lot of my friends, but I guess this is for everyone now. I am going to start posting on YouTube, my personal YouTube, every week for all of 2025. So every week I'm gonna drop a video for 52 weeks of 2025. I just want to, I want to be on that content creation, and I really do want to do YouTube. So I'm gonna try to hold myself accountable and post every single week, and it's gonna be hard because I have ideas to start, but then I might, kind of get, I guess, stuck on, kind of what to post and what to do. But that's the first goal. I just really want to, take initiative and, really chase my dream.
Yeah.
And then second, this is more work related. So, my boy Oscar, if you're watching this, in the solar side of things, I want to get, 15 deals, at least twice during the summer or during the year I'm out there. I want to get 15 deals in a month, which is actually really, really hard. But, I think I'll be capable of doing that. And 15 closed deals in a month is going to give me a lot of money. So, and my boy Oscar, I know he going to hold me down and hold me accountable to that. So I'm going to try to get that twice in the time that I'm out, whether we're back in Michigan or if we end up going somewhere else. That's my goal for the solar side of things.
Love it. Love both those.
Love that.
All right, well, you guys get it, and then we'll close out. The camera's getting a little wet. Sorry,
I'll go
guys,
quick.
but-
I'll go quick. I'll just say one, and it's probably to take every chance I got to be around the people that I'm good with more, like whether that be friends or family. I got some pretty dope, amazing people in my life, and I want to take every chance to spend every moment possible with them. So I'll keep it short and quick, but that's it.
Love that. It's tough with
Love
work these
that.
days, too.
Yeah. For me, it's, I don't know, I guess I got a few things, but I'll try and narrow it down. I guess I want to try and network a little bit more.
Yeah.
I've kind of kept a little, I have a circle that I like, a
Yeah.
strong circle that I can always rely on and always ask questions and get support from. But I want to start networking out a little bit more for the show and whatnot. Right now, I guess all I do for work is just pouring beer, but I want to try and start getting out and trying to find a new, drive, find new hobbies, find anything like that. Try and get back into reading. I used to read quite a bit, but now it's just kind of fallen off. And then I guess I need to get back in shape. That's I know that's a cheesy one right there, but I had a dream the other night. It was a couple of nights ago. I looked down at my hands and I had some fat hands, man. I had rings on, I had bracelets on, and I couldn't get them off. I was like, I'm getting fat, dude. Damn. Looked down at my ankles and I couldn't get my shoes off because I was too fat. So I was freaking out. I was stressing out. I woke up just oh no, this isn't good.
That's horrible.
So I feel like that's me telling myself I need to get back in shape and get back into that that right mindset.
We gotta
I feel like
switch
it'll
next
just
time. Get a
clear
little.
up a whole lot in my mind too. Just if that's happening in my sleep, then maybe I'm stressing out too much in real life.
Yeah,
But,
love that. Love that.
Got to get back in the gym. Maybe you guys can help me. I know you
Yeah,
guys are all some sort of sport fit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Start right
Maybe
here,
add that
man.
to,
Shoulder workout right here.
Yeah, gotta hold the umbrella for the camera. But yeah, just I don't know, just gotta go in with the stronger mindset.
Yeah, I love it. We have so many goals for the show as well. Don't even have to list them off. We have them all to ourselves, and we're just going to keep going. It's only the start. It's only going to get better. Also, big goal for me before the year in 2024 was working with the Sacramento Kings. And now at the end of the year, officially starting in January, I'm going to be working with the Sacramento Kings with iHeartRadio. So
boy.
super hyped about that.
Let's go.
But yeah, we'll close out. Merry Christmas from Beam City Sports. Thank you guys for listening. Love you all. Come back next week.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Share, like, subscribe. Tell your mom, your dads, your sisters, your brothers, everybody. Beam City Sports.
Beam City.
Cheers.